all the way to the Super Bowl. And while I think that's a little outlandish to think he could do that now, all we're talking about is can he get the Jags to the playoffs? Forget about the Super Bowl for now. Can he put them in a position to make the playoffs? Like I continue to say, can you get to week 17 of the NFL season? Chance, even if you need a little help. But if you beat Indianapolis here at home, last game of the year, can he get you in that spot? Can he help you get in that spot? Can the rest of the team do it? So we'll compare a little bit of what that team looked like in Philadelphia when he jumped in there for Carson Wentz. Now, admittedly, they were a very good football team. I think they were 11-2 at the time that he came in, but maybe even last year a little bit. The team that he had last year, which was not as good, and they had to roll off some wins late just to make the playoffs and get to 9-7. That's probably more likely the scenario that he comes into more last year than a couple years ago when they won the Super Bowl.
And that's the most important part, Brent, is the fact that it's not just him. You know, it's not just Nick Foles willing the Jacksonville Jaguars to the playoffs this year, because if you go back to when he played for Philly, he had a great team around him. And when I kind of compare that 2017 season, the season they won the Super Bowl, and I compare it to the roster now in the Jaguars, you're going to see some things that are different. You're going to see some similarities. But my point is the fact that this is bigger than Nick Foles. Yes, Nick Foles has to play great football. He has to play football where he doesn't turn the ball over, and he has to lead that offense. He has to drive the football down the field. But at the same time, he still needs his defense to show up. He still needs that ground attack to be there. So it's not just Nick Foles, and it wasn't just Nick Foles in Philly.
Absolutely not. So we'll see what Nick Foles can do. We're going to talk about that a little bit more, hear from some folks as well in that Jags locker room, hear from DiFilippo and that relationship. Yesterday was a big conversation about the relationship between him and Frank Reich in terms of Foles and Frank Reich. Well, we know this relationship between John DiFilippo. It's so funny. I was thinking of this last night after the show. I feel like we're reminding everybody of the conversations we had in the summer months, especially, like late July going into camp in August, and what this was supposed to look like for Nick Foles. And here we are again, and kind of resetting a lot of those conversations. Why? Because we kind of forgot about it. I mean, it feels new. This feels like a new start. You forget that he played 10 or 11 snaps. You almost forget that he was here all spring and forget that he was around in training camp. And part of that was because it was practices. Again, he played, 3 series in that Miami game, and that was it in the preseason? I mean, we really haven't seen Nick Foles play football for the Jacksonville Jaguars outside of the practice field. So I think while a little bit of this, at least as we talk about it, kind of is like I feel like we've done this before, it almost deserves a reset to remember where we were. And part of that, a big credit to Gardner Minshew, because he made everybody forget about a lot of that conversation for a good portion of 2 months.
It's been a huge credit to Minshew. And from that standpoint, Brent, like you kind of said, we kind of forgot about Nick Foles a little bit. I'll be honest, I didn't even know who Nick Foles was until 2 weeks ago again. I mean, that's just the way it is. But from that perspective, with Nick Foles now, you have to ask the question. It's the most important question probably of this Sunday is what Nick Foles is going to show up. Is he going to have the rust on him? You know, is he going to be a little hesitant to get back out there? And it's an interesting question because if you look at it the span of his career and you take away the 1 year with Chip Kelly and then that new school, kind of offense that kind of took this league by storm for 1 year and then teams got hip to the game. But if you look at Nick Foles, he's coming off the bench all the time, right? And he hasn't really played in a full season. So from that perspective where you want to say, well, is he going to have rust on him? Well, if you go back to 2017, yeah, sure, he practiced the entire season, but he didn't play in the games until it counted, until the playoffs and everything like that, and the same thing last year. So, to say, is he going to have rust on him? If Nick Foles has one thing going for him right now, it's the track record showing that the guy doesn't get rust because the guy's been on the bench countless times and he comes in and he puts up pretty good performances. So this Sunday, I wouldn't expect much rust from Nick Foles. Now, the biggest question, obviously, is he 100% healthy? And like I said before, I'm no doctor, but I know that if you break a bone, it's better to break a bone than it is to, tear like something in your knee because then it's like, oh, is it back? Is it better? No. Once that bone is healed, it's healed and it's stronger than it was before. So I think Nick Foles will be 100%. And I don't think we'll see a lot of rust on Nick Foles coming into Sunday.
If anything else, it's fresh legs probably, I mean, it feels pretty good. This time of the season, nobody feels good. Nick Foles might feel pretty good this time of the season. Every bit counts. So listen, you can't put too much into any of this stuff, but I think every little bit counts. And the more you are successful, the more that stuff plays out. Like, yeah, well, he looks really fresh. I mean, he looks really healthy. It looks like this has been great. If they win games. If they lose, it's like, well, he was rusty. That's the way the narrative goes. I mean, that's the way it's going to go. We don't know. It's a flip of the coin. I think this is the most difficult game maybe of the season to pick because we have no idea what Nick Foles is going to bring this offense. We really don't. And then we really have no idea what Jacoby Brissett's going to bring their offense, how healthy he will be without T.Y. Hilton struggling out of Vinatieri. I think the Colts are a big mystery. From the 3 weeks ago where I thought they'd be 7-2 to now where I don't know if they'll lose 3 in a row now. Pittsburgh, the Dolphins, and the Jags certainly feels like that could happen. So I think it's a difficult game to really grab put your teeth around and say, I think this is going to happen, like with a lot of confidence. And right now the Colts are 3-point favorites. One other thing, and we talked about this yesterday, it was kind of cool to see Foles preaching yesterday, right? We talked about it?
Yeah.
That thing went all over the place, right? Everybody got wind of that. Even Jalen Ramsey jumped in on that.
Sure.
I thought Tony Dungy did. I think you see Kurt Warner, I just saw, he tweeted about it, or maybe it's just coming up in my feed, but it might have been yesterday.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting how that was perceived and from people inside the football world. Again, this is less about, to me, religion and faith and more about a guy who's at peace of where he's at even when things aren't great. Mm-hmm. And it takes a little bit of time in your career, I think in any career, but probably as a football player especially, in that position to get to that point. And I said to somebody yesterday, I said, would Nick Foles feel the same way, react the same way as he did yesterday and as he's done for these last couple months if this was 6 years ago? And I've got to believe, and I don't know Nick Foles well enough, but I've got to believe the answer to that is no. I think some of those trials and tribulations and things you go through personally and on the field and off the field all factor into where he is in his frame of mind and able to handle things now. And kind of what I keep going back, that sense of peace. You don't really see that in a player very often. You might feel that with a guy that is about to retire and say, hey, he's got a peace about him ready to retire. Then there's other guys like Paul Leslie. He's like, I don't know if he'll ever find that peace of retiring because he wants to play so bad.
Dude's got to start coaching, man. I'm telling him.
So it's an interesting dynamic of almost the psyche of an NFL player from afar, because we get to watch it. It's a little window into Nick Foles. And as we continue to learn more and more about this guy and now coming off his latest setback, that quote that he had yesterday, that little sermon as he called it, really took the NFL by storm. Everybody was talking about it.
Well, I think it did because it kind of peeled back the curtain on Nick Foles a little bit because this is a guy who has been quiet in the media. He hasn't done a lot of interviews. He's just chose to focus on his first year in Jacksonville, just on his teammates, and being the best quarterback that he can be. And doing that, it revolved around him not giving us the interviews, not giving the camera time. And I understand that. But what we saw yesterday, like you said, it was a little peek to who Nick Foles really is. Now, in the NFL, I don't tell anybody this, but they already know. It's the fact that there's some guys that when they get in front of the camera, they put on this facade. Mm-hmm. It's not real. Either it's for branding, it's for just trying to make themselves look better. What you saw from Nick Foles in that press conference, I think that was the real Nick Foles, and he was 100% transparent, and I respect that because like we talked about yesterday, he knows who he is, and if you know who you are, I think you have a better chance of succeeding in the NFL than if you don't.
Yeah, and no matter how you feel about that side of it, that part of it, like, that's a little too much, or I love that, that was awesome. That doesn't matter. I think what it lends to is how much his teammates will believe in him going into this football game.
Sure.
And not just that, by the way. There's a lot of hidden things that we haven't seen. I'm just saying you can feel that. You can hear it in the voices of the players we interview and talk to, and I think you can see it almost, that they are going to buy into Nick Foles coming Sunday, even though they haven't seen him play a down since September 8th.
Well, and here's the biggest thing, man. The biggest way to win over the locker room, be a starting quarterback, is win. Actions will always speak louder than words.
All right, Jacksonville Icemen lose today, but in front of a record crowd. We're hanging out on the ice or close to the ice. Join us, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. When we come back, Austin, I want you to tell me how they are going to look different on Sunday with Foles and Flip. And we're going to bring John DiFilippo into the conversation when we come back on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Scattered showers gradually developing as we go through the day today from south to north. Otherwise, rain heavy at times, even perhaps a clap of thunder tonight into early Friday, dropping into the upper 50s. With the First Alert forecast, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where you can get 20% off store-wide, including loose diamonds with special financing, only at Beards Diamonds.
I just love this time of year, don't you, boss?
Love? Love is not the word I'd use.
Oh, come on, boss. It's the time of year to be thankful. Aren't you thankful the weather's cool enough at least?
Well, I noticed you sweat less, so yeah, I'm thankful.
See?
I'm also thankful that we found a house without safe touch security and that the homeowners are out of town soon.
Yeah, that reminds me. That house is out.
What?
Yeah, I saw they had Safe Touch installing a new system just yesterday.
Oh, well, what about that house next door? They didn't have safe.
Nope, Safe Touch got them too. Guess it was a two for that day.
You know, I was just starting to get into the thankful spirit until you brought up safe touch security.
Sorry, boss. We still have a lot to be thankful for.
I'd be thankful if you truly found me a house without safe touch.
I'm on it, boss.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Fact. About half of all men will experience ED or PE. Fact. Both ED and PE are highly treatable. Fact. A safe, effective treatment is just a call away. At Prime Men's Medical Center, our highly skilled doctors guarantee results on your first visit, or there's no charge. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rabinski. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, the treatments at Prime Men's Medical Center work immediately, regardless of your age or medical history. You'll receive custom-blended medications designed just for you. They're safe and effective with no pain and no surgery. Patients are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer. And best of all, the treatments are affordable.
Men, if you want to last longer in the bedroom, schedule a private consultation with the experienced physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center. 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
It's that time again, the time when I can finally say my favorite 3 words. No, it's not I love you, though those are pretty good words too. The 3 words I'm talking about, Toyotathon is on. And it's going on right now at Arlington Toyota. Arlington Toyota is the place to be when it comes to getting amazing Toyotathon savings on their huge selection. That's over 1,000 new and used on the lot every day. And it's all at Toyotathon savings. Right now, during Toyotathon at Arlington Toyota, lease a 2020 Camry LE for only $232 a month. That's a 2020 Camry for just $232 a month. Ready to unwrap a RAV4? Then get to Arlington Toyota where you can lease a 2019 RAV4 LE for just $216 a month. Just $216 a month. Plus, you get Arlington's $5,000 Advantage Club and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Toyotathon is on at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Toyotathon for offer details.
The Stephen A. Smith Show, weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. on ESPN 690.
The only difference between the New York Jets and the New York Giants is I have no problem with Pat Shermer finishing the season before he goes as the head coach of this franchise because he never should have been a head coach to begin with. And in the case of Adam Gase, he should be going today.
Now, back to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 and on your smart speaker.
So I really don't have enough information to answer that question because I looked at it just as Brissett was there and going, and then we know if he doesn't go and Brian Hoyer goes, and we know that he's a good quarterback and he gets, when he gets hot, he can light you up. And I played against, Brian before and I have a ton of respect for him.
You all right there? You ready?
Yeah.
I mean, you all dressed up now?
Well, yeah, to get my skates on, man. It takes a while.
Jeez. He's a guy. I mean, he just changed in. You missed the skate. You missed the dropping of the puck. That was this morning at 10:30.
What? I can't take advantage, man, dude. If we're at the PGA Tour Superstore right now, dang well between the breaks you'd be hitting the driving range or whatever and doing that. So I figured if I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna skate a little bit.
All right, Brent Martineau, Austin Lane. You just heard from Doug Marrone as they get ready for Jacoby Brissett and the Indianapolis Colts. Is it okay if I just kind of whatever on Jacoby Brissett? I mean, has he done a better job than anybody thought he'd do? Did he make a great play in that game a couple weeks back? Who was that? He escaped Von Miller, I think, in the Broncos. But I don't know. I just don't get worried about Jacoby Brissett. I mean, should I be? Am I downplaying that? Am I overlooking that? Is he better than I think he is?
I think I don't call him a game manager because I think he's more than that, Brent. I think the Colts record right now would indicate that. But let me ask you this question. How many dual threat guys have the Jaguars played against, and how's that gone for the Jaguars so far?
Yeah. not good. Well, Deshaun Watson every time.
Correct.
Who am I missing?
I mean, I don't think Patrick Mahomes is a dual threat, but I think he's more of
mobile.
He's mobile.
And really, I look at Jacoby Brissett more like that. I mean, Jacoby Brissett is less Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson and more Mahomes in terms of being mobile.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, he can run around, but he's not going to really – it's not like he's going to take off and run 7 times for 65 yards.
But I'm saying when you pass rush him, you have to have gap integrity.
Yeah. I get it. I'm just saying, I guess that's the part of it. It's all relative, right?
Sure.
If you take the NFL and you take the quarterbacks you're going to play in a season, and it started out to be Patrick Mahomes, Cam Newton, Drew Brees, Deshaun Watson twice, really at the beginning, Andrew Luck, you know, Phillip Rivers, who am I missing? Matt Ryan. You know, you're playing those kind of quarterbacks. Now, again, they didn't play Cam Newton, they didn't play Drew Brees. Jacoby Brissett, to me, is just a guy in that conversation, you know, and that's kind of how I feel about it. So, and especially you take away T.Y. Hilton and you don't have some of the receivers that they have. I just don't feel like there's a dynamic nature to the Colts, and I don't know if they would even sell you on that. I think they want to beat you up front. They want to run the ball, control the ball. You know, I do every week for Jaguars.com kind of my thoughts on how the Jaguars will win and how the Colts will win.
Sure.
And my take on the Colts, if they are going to win this football game, it's almost like they have to be ahead on time of possession. Almost as simple as that. Like, if they do that, that doesn't equate all the time, but if they do that, that means they're grinding down the Jaguars' defense and they're keeping drives alive and Marlon Mack's running the football and they're controlling things and getting first downs. Because the way I look at it is the Indianapolis Colts will go, their drives are like more 8 to 12 plays than they are, 4 to 6 plays or 4 to 7 plays. And so they want to grind you out so in the fourth quarter they can keep doing that. And the key to that, to me, is the Jags getting ahead, making them a little bit more one-dimensional by the end of the second quarter and making Brissett try to beat you with their receiving core right now that really doesn't wow you.
Well, it doesn't wow you, but I'll be honest with you. I think this is the Jaguars' game to win, like I've been stating the whole week. But I am a little worried about the receiving threats. Obviously, T.Y. Hilton is out for this game. But where the Colts could possibly put some damage on the Jaguars, it's the tight end position, and it's also the running back position as a receiver. So when I say the tight end position, right now, Eric Ebron having a horrible season. And the Colts fans are letting him know about it. He's underperforming. Everyone's come out and said that. He acknowledges that. And the last thing you want to see if you're the Jacksonville Jaguars right now is Eric Ebron coming pissed off because he's having a bad season, had a horrible showing against Miami. I think he had like 12 targets but only 5 catches. It was just really bad numbers. So the last thing you want to see is Indianapolis try to get Eric Ebron going, who in the past has been pretty good against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's a pretty good tight end when he's on. And also, we'll see if Jack Doyle, the 2 tight end plays as well, because Jack Doyle is kind of the guy who can do everything. He's good in the run game. He does kind of the dirty work, but he's also a very, very capable receiver. So now if you have 2 tight ends you got to worry about the field at the same time, well, now that we're talking about the safeties, we're talking about the linebackers. And if the Jaguars have been exposed recently, I go back to the New York Jets game against a guy by the name of Ryan Griffin, I think his name was.
Yes.
That's where the Jaguars were exposed. So from the tight end position, the Jaguars have to be better. And then you have Nyheim Hines, who he's a guy who will line up in the backfield. He'll line up in the slot position. He'll line up as a one receiver. They like to use him everywhere. But the point is the fact that he is a running back, but he plays in the receiving game. And the Jacksonville Jaguars haven't necessarily been the best in that either.
I always catch myself, too, because I look at some of these other teams. And, again, I think it's a lot relative. Like, right now, if you really ask me what team scares me more than anybody else on their schedule from a roster standpoint, a matchup standpoint, it's the LA Chargers. To me, that's the game. And really, I think that Oakland game is tough because of the emotion going out west. It's the last game at the Coliseum. There'll be a lot going on. And by the way, Oakland's pretty good. I mean, Oakland's going to win this week, and they're going to go to 6-4. So they're pretty good. And who knows where they'll be at that juncture of the season a month from now. But they look pretty good. So relatively speaking, in a schedule that's kind of manageable, I actually think the Chargers at 4-6 are more of a difficult task because of Rivers. I think Gus knows this all, and this defense, this offense, all that stuff, and his defense is pretty good. They've got good players. They've underperformed in terms of their football team, and they've had a lot of injuries. But heck, Derwin James could be back by that time. Who knows? So that's the way I kind of look at it. But then I got to remind myself and be careful and catch myself and be like, hey, dude, the Jags are 4-5. I mean, the Jags haven't been over 500
One step at a
yet.
time.
Like, it's like the Jags – it doesn't matter who you play. When you're 4-5, you're not that good. You're pretty average. And so I guess I'm not taking that task like this is a layup, this is easy. I understand that nothing is easy, nothing's a layup. I'm just saying when I look at that film, which I don't, but when I look at that film, if I'm a player, if I'm Doug Marrone, I say, okay, let's go play good football because we should win, could win, need to win this game.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that for me. What does it look like with DiFilippo and Foles now? Anything noticeable from your standpoint that we will see from 1 o'clock until 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon that will be like, wow, that's in there because of Foles? And I don't want to say this is not me asking you about the skill set necessarily compared to Minshew, the experience compared to Minshew. I'm talking about the look of it. Well, we see a play, a formation, a something that says, no, wait, we didn't see that the first 8 weeks because we didn't get enough of a sample in the first game against Kansas City to even think that way. So we haven't seen it. And I'm curious if we will. Do you think something will jump off to you at the screen watching the game and saying, wow, that's a new little wrinkle we haven't seen in a couple months?
I think if it's the biggest thing, it's going to be the pre-snap reads and the pre-snap movement. And by that, I just mean the motion. I think we're going to see a lot more motion. I'm curious to see if they're going to utilize 2 tight end sets or more just 1 tight end set because we know that Foles loves to use the tight end, and so does John DiFilippo. The question is, do they have the tight ends right now to use? More specifically, is Josh Oliver that guy? I mean, he hasn't played in a lot of games, Brent. He's had a couple catches here or there, but is he going to be that dependable dude? And we may find out Sunday. But I think overall we're just going to see a lot more motions and a lot more just, I guess you would call, like cannon fodder in the backfield. That's going to kind of confuse the defense a little bit because Foles has been in that offense before and he knows what to do.
I do think the long ball is something people are wondering about. But I say that, and I feel like Minshew had a bunch of explosive plays.
Of course.
But I think his explosive plays came off creativity and plays that looked like they were breaking down and him on the run. So I wonder from the pocket if Foles is just going to let it fly. And I think a little bit of that is his M.O.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think he is willing to do that, and we saw it. I mean, the throw to Chark still is a beauty, man. I mean, if you take that, this is over-dramatization at its best. But if you look at that throw that Foles threw, 10 plays, 11 plays into his Jags career, you might be able to make the argument that was the prettiest ball a quarterback has thrown in a Jacksonville Jaguars uniform this decade.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And it was a small glimpse. It makes you wonder what could have been for the rest of that game. The deep ball will be there. The question is, are they going to attack it right off the bat? We talked about it, Brent. I think we both can agree that Chris Conley is going to have an increase of usage.
We feel that way, right?
Now,
at least with targets.
Yeah, at least with targets. And we saw that in training camp. We saw it in OTAs. They love to throw the deep ball to Chris Conley. And that gives you a supreme advantage because usually if it's the deep ball, you have to worry about either the 1 receiver or the 2 receiver, right? Like, who's ever going to be on Chris Conley won't be the best cornerback, and it may not be the second best cornerback. It's gonna be the 3rd best cornerback, or like the nickelback that we've been talking about. So from that perspective, you put a nickelback on Chris Conley, and unless that nickelback was a 100-state champion, 100-meter champion in the SEC or something like that, I like Chris Conley's chances to burn somebody deep. And we know Foles has the accuracy to pinpoint that throw and get the ball in the money. If that's the case, then, yeah, I think Chris Conley could have a fantastic day.
Here's the other guy I want to see if he starts breaking out, and I don't know if the injury is too much. I know he didn't play against Houston, but D.D. Westbrook. He's got a touchdown, 383 yards, and 32 catches on the year. Now, again, he missed 1 game. He's been banged up. He's gutting it out. And he had that really good game, I want to say, wasn't Carolina. It might have been Cincinnati, right? I think he had a 100-yard day. And that would, outside of that, it's like I want more D.D., I want more Westbrook. And so I'm hungry for more D.D. Westbrook in this football game as long as he's healthy and can do it. And I'm interested to see if he also – we're talking Conley, but I wonder if he gets more involved a little bit more if he's feeling up to it. We're going to talk more about the Jags. We've got some college football. What's going on in Tallahassee with Florida State and a little bit of everything. Coming up next, though, talk a little Jacksonville Icemen hockey, and I think Austin's going to skate. And we're going to break it all down because we got the head coach coming up next on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Jake Mitchell. Minshew Mania may have cooled off, but Gardner still has one fan rooting for him, Nick Foles.
I'm proud of Gardner for everything he's done. He's a tremendous player. He's been amazing in the QB room, and I've really enjoyed watching him play and develop as a young player.
The Jags take on the Colts this Sunday in Nick Foles' long-awaited return to the field after an injury suffered in Game 1. There are already confirmed attendees for the Colin Kaepernick workout Saturday in Atlanta. Reps from Miami Dolphins, Detroit Lions, Atlanta Falcons, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers have confirmed, and John Elway has confirmed the Denver Broncos will also be represented, as well as the Washington Redskins, the Dallas Cowboys, and Arizona Cardinals. More to come. Stay connected with ESPN 690 while you're at work by listening on ESPN690.com. The best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers wholesale prices with premium service, and TireOutlet.com always has a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, there's no need to go anywhere else for tires and service.
Who sells loose diamonds at 20% off?
Nobody in the St. John's Town Center except Beard's Diamonds.
Right now, you can save 20% on everything in the store, including loose diamonds, but only at Beard's Diamonds.
This is a sale smart jewelry buyers wait for.
20% off all diamond engagement rings, from solitaires to halos. 20% off all diamond bracelets, necklaces, earrings, and more.
It's the biggest inventory in North Florida, and it's not just rings and bracelets at 20% off. Everything store-wide, including loose diamonds, is an incredible 20% off.
And that's on top of Beard's already unbeatable prices.
Why wait till the holidays? Get your shopping done now and save 20% off, but only at Beard's Diamonds.
Now you can get her a bigger, better diamond at 20% off. Plus, Beard's Diamonds has special financing for this incredible sale.
Beard's Diamonds, where exceptional is affordable.
In the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Thanksgiving. It's all about being thankful for the good things in life, huh?
Yeah. Hey, boys, I got an idea. How about we start a new tradition by naming the things we're thankful for?
Okay, I'll start. I'm thankful that the house we just robbed had a ton of expensive jewelry and fine silverware.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm thankful that they had a big blue alarm instead of Safe Touch.
Now, why'd you have to mention them?
Well, I'm thankful we didn't have to deal with the Safe Touch two-way communicator or their 45-second or less response time. Boss, I'm just thankful that we've decided to stay away from Safe Touch houses, especially now that they have video monitoring.
Would you stop? You are ruining my thankfulness.
I mean, the best technology and the lowest price. It's just not fair. Hey, boss, pass the cranberry sauce, will you?
At Safe Touch, we don't claim to be the largest alarm company, just the best. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, owner of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need to be involved in the community. Then you need to...
Whoa. I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
Local Solutions, your local marketing team putting you at the top of mind. Visit JacksonvilleLocalSolutions.com today and let us take your business to the next level. Local Solutions, powered by Cox Media Group. Marketing solved.
At Action News Jax, we're here for severe. When storms threaten, put your trust in the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Team, led by Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Rated the most accurate for the last 13 years.
The First Alert Weather Team is the only team of certified meteorologists in the Jacksonville area. That means we have the most schooling and training to forecast and predict severe weather. And that experience will keep you safe from a storm.
Action News Jax First Alert Weather on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Journeys coming to the ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena August 24th, 2020, and ESPN 690 has your chance to win a pair of tickets to the show. Head to the contest page on ESPN 690 to register now. See Journey live from ESPN 690.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Yeah, most definitely. Speech kind of went viral yesterday, so I didn't see it until last night. And I think that's who Nick is. He's a God-fearing man. He demonstrates that to us every day. You know, even before he got hurt, he always demonstrated that to the team. Well, not the team, the offense. You know, so he always had that in him.
That's Leonard Fournette just a short time ago, courtesy of Jaguars.com. Leonard Fournette talking about Nick Foles. How will this football team with number 7 at the helm on Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts, and really what feels like a must-win situation for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The panic button all over town and in that building, by the way, will be hit if the Jaguars lose to the Colts on Sunday. But it's a whole new ball game if they win. It's as simple as that when you're hanging around 4-5 and just a couple of games out with a mix of teams for 2 wild card spots. So we'll see how it shakes out on Sunday. Welcome back, everybody. Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. More football talk coming up in just a little bit. But right now, we are hanging out at the Veterans Memorial Arena. And so we figure let's talk a little Jacksonville Icemen hockey. They had a game this morning. They lost 5-4 in front of a record crowd. All the kids were out here, more than 12,000 folks. Icemen head coach Jason Christie joins me right now. How you doing, man?
Good, Brent. How are you doing?
Sorry you lost today, but it was an exciting hockey game.
Oh, it was the attendance was on. Like, those kids were just loud, and it was awesome to play in front of. And just too bad we just didn't get the win there. And the front office obviously did a great job getting those kids out here.
That's one of those deals where it's tough to wake up and play, but when you get 12,000 screaming kids, they wake you up in a hurry.
They wake you up pretty. Yeah, that Sharky Shark song there too, Baby Shark. That the kids love that. That's for sure.
Hey, let's look behind us right now. If you're watching on the social media platforms, that's Austin Lane on skates. Not bad for the 6'6" big fella.
No, he gets around good. He's high stepping even too.
He loves it.
Yeah,
I mean, he couldn't wait to come out here. Not really to see you or Alex or be here. It really just wanted to get on the ice.
Yeah, no, he does well out there for sure.
So anyway, he's
a lot of treats, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, he's a Wisconsin guy. I mean, you almost have to be able to.
Yeah,
skate,
I guess so. Eh?
How's Wisconsin in terms of hockey?
Good. No, they're good. Good friends. Tony Granato's coaching there right now.
They got former Providence College guy.
No, he played in the NHL there with L.A. Kings, San Jose Sharks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Granado. Is that
Granado.
I feel like a Granado was at Providence College back in the day.
But Cammie was there.
Oh, that's who
Cammie.
it was. It was her sister.
Cammie,
that's right.
Yeah,
she was
sister.
awesome.
She was awesome. She's the only female to be. Well, I think recognized now, but she was the first one to be in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
That's what it was. Good.
Yeah,
I like
it was
that.
awesome.
Glad we could figure that out right there.
Yeah.
All right, tell us about your hockey team. I mean, I know you lost a little bit of a slow start, but I mean, you get so many new players. I mean, you'd love to start fast, but at the same time, you have to be a little bit patient the first few weeks of the season, I would imagine.
Well, no, you know what? We have a lot of new bodies, but the thing that's frustrating right now is we're scoring the goals, but we're down one more extra, and we just got to tighten it up. Like tonight, we give up 2 goals there, a 2-on-1 from the blue line in, and then a 3-on-1 to win it, and. Those are areas where we got to clean up, and we got to make sure we got to bounce back. We got them here again tomorrow, Atlanta, and then obviously Orlando here on Saturday. But we just got to, it's fixable things. It's not we're sitting here wondering what it is. It's a situation where they're definitely fixable, and we got to buckle those down.
You've been around the ECHL for a long, long time. You have a couple of games coming up Friday, Saturday. You had a great crowd today.
Yeah.
But this crowd's been awesome in the first couple of years of the Jacksonville Icemen's history. How much do you guys realize that, recognize that? When you're over there, you kind of look up and be like, this is a great atmosphere in the ECHL. And maybe it's not the best, and maybe it is, but it's darn good, isn't it?
I think it's up there. I really do. And the players notice it. Even visiting teams come in and they notice it. And, when you're talking to guys in the summer, getting them to come here, that's one of the things that they when you're talking to them, they've heard about it that haven't been here, and the guys that have been here, they definitely love the atmosphere, and that's something that we do have. Bob and his staff do a heck of a job. You just seen with the kids, they're out in the community, and I know the players get out there during the winter, and it's something that when you can have the excitement like our fans give here, it's easy to get up for sure.
Well, and the Icemen have done such a fantastic job. You come off that playoff appearance last year. Everybody got all fired up. How important is it this season from, your point of view because you're the coach, but from almost an organizational point of view to grab that momentum, ride that momentum, and do it again in the spring? That's a long way away right now in your season, but you almost want to, you want to do it again. You want to you get that feel, and everybody else got the feel in the city about it. They got fired up about it, so you almost want to be able to follow it up with another one, don't you?
No, and that's the thing. You want to build off what we had last year. I think if you look at the end of the year and the excitement, like you said, around town, this is a sports town. It doesn't matter if it's baseball or football or even hockey now. Like it's taken off, and you just seen last year in playoffs, the fans got into it, and when you're coming out to sold out in playoffs, like that's definitely something we want to make sure we continue here. But that's what we want to grow. We just don't want to be happy getting to the play. We want to have that team to bring that cup here, and that's something that definitely striving for here. And we, like I said, there's we got to fix a few things here, but personnel wise, we got a good group of guys, and we just got to turn those. At the end of the game, we had a chance to score. We got to create those opportunities more, and start making sure we get in the back of the net with the puck.
One more about the growth of hockey before we get back to your team. Your kids are down in St. Johns County. You go to school actually with my kids.
Yeah.
And do you feel like all these kids here today, 12,000 of them, do you sense that when people realize that you're out at a soccer game or something like that, like, hey, the Icemen head coach, you got some kids that are like, hockey, man, that's cool. It's interesting. I mean, there's still a bit of that, right, in Northeast Florida, trying to expose it.
For sure. And that's the thing. Like now, there is that talk out there. There's that, the community, especially down in St. John's there where we are, you got the parents that do come to the games and bring their families. And that's the biggest thing, Brent, is with us. We're family oriented. You know what I mean? Like it's reasonable to bring a family to a hockey game, and that's something where we got to put on a good product and for them to enjoy it. But again, like you seen today, the kids had a blast. Go home, talk to their parents, and we'll see what goes from there.
How much of a grind is this for your team? And you almost have to pace yourself. Again, you lose, and you come back. You got to be ready to go tomorrow night, Saturday, and you got to flush that thing in a hurry, don't you?
Well, you do, but the best thing about it, you get right back in the saddle again. Like it's just not something where you take that hard loss and you got to chew it for a couple of days. Tomorrow is regrouping. You're right back at it here again tomorrow night. So it's something where we've been waiting to be in the arena here. It's they got it booked up with concerts and stuff, so we've been out a little bit, but it's something we just got to keep grinding away here and obviously be prepared.
Was the road, the bus rides, all those kind of things, does it gel the team, or is that fiction or fact?
It's a fact. No question it is. Like when we went out to Fort Wayne there, like it was, you just see the guys kind of come together there. And, right now I think with our team, though, if you put your thumb on it, it's a lot of guys they all want to go and score a goal. What I mean? We need
make
some
their
guy
moment, right?
Make their moment, but we need some guys to kind of obviously play better defensively and not take the shortcuts there, because you got to have in order to have a good offense, you got to have a good defense. And that's something that we got to make sure we realize.
Do you have a favorite place to go in the league in terms of a road trip? Is it short because it's Orlando?
Yeah, no.
You've been around it so much. Is there a place? If I was going to go on a road trip, you say, hey, Brent, you got to come on this trip with us. This is a pretty good one.
I think, honestly, I think going to Fort Myers for me, I just love it. It's 1-goal games all usually, and the fans are. It's a pretty good rivalry, and
they're good down there.
And they're good. But I love that. Like see where we're at, and we had a big win there last weekend. But you got to be detailed. You got to be ready to go. Have the guys ready when they're going down there, and it's they get going. But I like Jack. Like I can't say enough about how awesome our fans are, and the things that obviously Bob and his staff put together here.
Yeah, well, the reason I asked you it that way is because I think you're right about that. I think if you ask people in Orlando and Fort Myers and Atlanta and all these other places, I think they'd say, hey, yeah, it's fun coming down to Jacksonville.
100%.
So that's a pretty cool thing. Back-to-backers, Atlanta.
Yeah.
How much do you grind over what else you can do different after a loss, or is it we just got to play better? I mean, so from a strategic standpoint, is there anything you'll change without being too specific, because they might be listening?
Yeah, no. Again, you got to look at, we've already been cutting the tape here, so we got all the goals down against and goals for, what we did good and stuff we have to work on. Definitely got to see it tomorrow. You know what I mean? Just areas where, it's stopping instead of circling. You know what I mean? It's just little things like that. It's not something where, how would we get beat? You know what I mean? It's a little detail thing. Like instead of a guy going for a circle, it's just stopping, making them have to come between us and the goalie. It's just, that's the stuff that we're not cleaning up right now, and we got to start getting those areas cleaned. But again, tomorrow we got to come out same energy. We got to, might have a couple guys called up here. Won't know till later on tonight. Unfortunately, 10:30 game. They fly out tonight, So see what we have here in the morning and put a lineup together and get ready to go.
All right, a couple more for you. Take us behind the scene of that. Okay, you get a new guy in here tonight, tomorrow.
Yeah.
What do you do? Be like, hey, man, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Where you from?
That's what happened with the goalie this morning. He flew in last night, and he didn't get in. His plane got delayed from Charlotte. He didn't get in till midnight, so I didn't meet him here till this morning. Came in, hey, we got a meeting in 10 minutes. So, it's
awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of quick that way. But, again, guys that will be going in the lineup tomorrow, guys have been skating with us, so they're hungry. They're ready to go.
Okay, last one. I'm going to reference it because there's a bunch of Nick Foles talk around the area, okay? That is such a vital position. Is it obvious? Is goalie that position on the ice? But a second part of that, like we're talking a lot about this week about Foles' impact on his teammates in that locker room, like super well respected. I don't know if that guy has to be the goalie because the goalie's usually the odd guy anyway, right?
Yeah.
So that's a two-parter. I mean, is it as simple as, the goaltender's usually that guy that he can change everything.
Yeah.
But from a leadership standpoint, is it usually a position, or does it take a special trait, character guy on a team?
Well, we got Derek Barash down here from Columbus. He was down here, really good centerman, and I think our team kind of rallied around his, energy. The goaltender, it's a big position, but this guy get through 5 other guys before he gets to him. So, but you want you want that big save at the right time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the biggest thing is, when you can get that save at the right time, the guys go, oh, yeah, let's go. That, you know what I mean? It does rally you quite a bit. So, it's but for me, it's got to get through 5 guys before it gets to the goalie. So it's, you just want to make sure that when called upon, he's there to make that save.
Is it hard for guys to take a role like that in the ECHL because everybody's trying to fight, trying to make it? Is that tough?
And that's
young guys,
and that's a great question because we have a lot of guys that they think they need points to get up, but there's so much more of their game that they're missing in order to get called up. You know what I mean? Like whether it's being able to not turn a puck over the blue line or use your speed wide, drive a defenseman down. Like those little things add up for them at the next level. So they have to learn those down here. And obviously that's one of the key things that we need to get better at down here.
Jason Christie, head coach of Jacksonville Icemen. It's been a long day for you. Appreciate you stopping by and hanging.
Always good to see you, though. I appreciate it.
Well, good luck tomorrow night.
All right, thanks so much.
Back home tomorrow night, back home Saturday as well. And like I always say to the Icemen, I mean, they don't have to fly in an enforcer. Austin Lane's ready to go.
Austin is
just
ready.
down the road.
Yeah.
We'll send him in a limo if need be. That's all we need.
Yeah.
We come back, we'll talk a little bit more about football, ballin', and Fallin. What's going on in Tallahassee as well? A lot to get to. Action Sports Jax on a Thursday here on ESPN 690. Hanging out with the Icemen down here at the arena. We'll be right back.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
I have never made any off-the-books bets with John Bachman. The Friday Six-Pack is its own entity, and I wouldn't go against that with off-the-book bets. I have no further comments at this time.
I beat Austin in a side bet. What do we bet?
John, I have never made any off-the-book bets with John Bachman. The Friday Six-Pack is its own entity, and I wouldn't go against that off-the-books bet.
Catch Brent and Austin weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690 or ESPN690.com.
Tax problems can be extremely stressful and cause financial devastation. The tax attorneys at J. David Tax Law are right here in Jacksonville to be your personal advocate and resolve your IRS or state sales tax issues. J. David Tax Law focuses on your needs and case outcomes. Don't be fooled by these big out-of-town tax companies that only focus on getting you to sign up and pay without even working with an attorney. At J. David Tax Law, only highly experienced tax attorneys will represent you. Get the help you need with tax debt, payroll taxes, bank levies, wage garnishments, tax liens, and unfiled returns. If you have federal or state sales tax debt, have a sit-down with J. David Tax Law. Your first step is a no-cost consultation. Call J. David Tax Law at 904-507-4777, 904-507-4777. Peace of mind only a click or phone call away, 904-507-4777, or go to jdavidtaxlaw.com.
If you're planning to sell your home, then it makes sense to call the agent who already has thousands of families in his exclusive database of buyers and will guarantee the sale of your home in writing. And most importantly, an agent who will help you make the most money possible, right? Do yourself a favor and call Phil Aitken with the Aitken Home Team Keller Williams Realty, just like the family in Jacksonville recently did. Phil sold their home in just 3 days for over asking price after being on the market for 164 days with another agent with no luck. Phil Aitken's success rate for selling homes is remarkable because Phil already has the buyers. It makes sense. You want to sell, Phil has your buyers, which create demand and many times multiple offers. His buyers are real families looking for a home today. So take the next step and call Phil Aitken today, and please tell him you heard it right here. The easy to remember number is 500-PHIL. That's 500-PHIL, or visit philhasthebuyers.com. That's philhasthebuyers.com.
New flavors and a rating that would make man jealous. Hey everyone, this is Austin Lane.
And I'm Brett Martineau. Vita de Louis recently got a 98 rating. It's new, and it's getting rave reviews.
Made in Tequila, Mexico, and shipped directly to Jack's Beach. Vita de Louis is available in 3 flavors.
And those flavors are Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo. Try all 3. Make your own recipes with Vita de Louis Tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you will ever taste. For merchandise and more, visit VitaDeLouis.com. Are you looking for the best wings around? I found the place. Listen up. Hey, everyone, it's Brent Martineau. Mr. Chubby's Wings is awesome. 2 locations, the West Side and in Fleming Island. They are a part of the community, too. Mr. Chubby's Wings wants to wish all of the high school teams good luck this fall. They've been supporting youth athletics for a decade. Get ready for the game at Mr. Chubby's. Celebrate the big win at Mr. Chubby's. Chub it up with the best wings around. Mr. Chubby's Wings on the West Side and in Fleming Island.
It's that time again, the time when I can finally say my favorite 3 words. No, it's not I love you, though those are pretty good words too. The 3 words I'm talking about, Toyotathon is on. And it's going on right now at Arlington Toyota. Arlington Toyota is the place to be when it comes to getting amazing Toyotathon savings on their huge selection. That's over 1,000 new and used on the lot every day. And it's all at Toyotathon savings. Right now, during Toyotathon at Arlington Toyota, lease a 2020 Corolla LE for a low $162 per month. That's a 2020 Corolla LE for just $162 per month. Get the truck you've always wanted and save when you lease a 2019 Tacoma SR5 double cab for only $199 per month. Just $199 per month for a Tacoma. Plus, you get Arlington's $5,000 Advantage Club and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Toyotathon is on at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Toyotathon for offer details.
We're local, you're local, shop local. This holiday season, shop local retailers right here in the 904.
When you shop local retailers, you're making an investment in our own community.
Shop the 904.
Powered by Cox Media Group.
Golick and Wingo.
I totally understand it. They need to find out down the stretch of this season whether or not Nick Foles is going to be the guy they thought he was going to be when they paid him the money.
Golick and Wingo. Weekdays at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Now, back to Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
I think it's good for everyone. I went home, chilled with my kids. I did a lot of stuff for my kids, so I didn't do no working out at all. So I'm gonna let you know right now. I asked them what I did. I didn't work out. I lay in the bed, ate gumbo, went on dates with my daughter and my son, and we chilled. Coach Doug told us don't think about football when we go home. Despite the loss and stuff, he said, man, let it go, and we're gonna come back ready for a new start and fresh.
All right, that was Leonard Fournette of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I didn't hear the entire thing, but Kuz said it was kind of funny. What the heck did he say, Kuz?
He said he didn't do anything in the break. He didn't get a workout, and he hung out with his kids and ate gumbo.
Oh, geez.
Ooh, nice.
Didn't get a workout in. Do you like to hear that or not?
Oh, eating that gumbo too, man, with that bread base in it. Or not the bread, but like with the, I think it's like the butter base, whatever they call it. Ooh, that could give me a fullback now, too, a little bit. No, that's fine, man. I mean, I'm sure
Watch, Leonard's going to run for 32 yards. Everybody's going to take that soundbite and run with
I
it.
know, right?
He
no,
was
I
eating
mean
gumbo, and he didn't get a workout in. No wonder why he couldn't run for a first down.
No, like that's the most important part of the bye week. Sure, you can get a workout here or there, but it's all about the recovery, Brad. And from that standpoint, good for him for getting that in, and hopefully he comes back feeling refreshed, ready to roll.
Yeah, it's something that I always say this about. The more and more you're around sports, you realize the recovery is so important.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the older and older you get, the more and more you realize sometimes the recovery is important.
Oh, without
and I like always was like, yeah, whatever, just keep going, let's go. You know,
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
But you get it more. I understand it more. I really didn't. I'm being honest. I didn't really understand that. I was like, really? But there's so much emphasis on the recovery,
dude.
Almost more so than the preparation.
I didn't understand it when I was a rookie in the NFL either. I was
bet.
just like, man, like we got to go sit in the cold tub for another like 15 minutes or so, and then we got a foam roll after that when it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna go home and sleep because like sleep's like the ultimate thing to get back in recovery, or so they tell you. But the older you get, the more you realize, like, yeah, maybe those extra cold tubs, maybe those extra foam roll sessions, maybe there's something to be said for them.
All right. Hey, Florida State, still they haven't named the coach. And there's these rumors just keep flying around. And is Bob Stoops very much in it? Listen, I got a text from a guy I know today, and he's like very much in it and maybe getting close to done. And I love this guy, and I'm not saying he might be right, might be wrong. I don't know is the point. I don't think anybody. In these coaching searches, things happen like this where everybody's knows a little bit of something or thinks a little bit of something. I can tell you this, it's not done. If it was done, we'd know by now. Somebody would know by now. An agent would have leaked it out. Stoops would have leaked it out. Florida State would have. There's no way it's done unless it's come down, and I'm talking about it as it's coming down. But it is interesting to hear the Bob Stoops conversation, but it brings me to this about Florida State. Right now there's a lot of folks saying, Odell Haggins, he loves that school. You can feel it.
Yeah.
How important do you think that is? Because we're seeing that with Eddie O. We talked about it a little bit earlier this week. And how much could that connection mean? Remember, people killed the Eddie O hire. They're like, no way this is going to work. Well, it's worked. And, I mean, I don't know if I killed the Eddie O hire. I'm not sure I knew enough about it to do that. But I did question it. I'm like, I don't know. And that has worked, man, times 100. They're number one in the country. They just beat Alabama. He's 9-3 against top 10 teams. Only losses to Alabama. He's morphed that football team from a team that scored 0 to 46 against Alabama. I mean, it's really incredible what they've been able to do. So hats off to Eddie O. And it does beg the question, can you get somebody that absolutely loves the place they're at? They bleed those colors. And does that resonate enough to get people to come and play hard and feel the same way you do about it? I think it's a fair question, and I think we have examples that it does work.
Yeah, obviously, if you have ties to a school and if you're passionate about it, in my opinion, it's gonna mean a lot more to you, right? And maybe you spend that little extra hour in the film room or getting the game plan ready as opposed to, hanging out with your family. Because at the end of the day, being the life of a head coach or even a position coach, whether it's in college, in the pros, or even in high school, man, it is a very demanding job. And I think the fact that you mentioned, like, getting the guys there and then letting them play. Well, as far as recruiting is concerned, and listen, like, I'm not a scout and I'm not a college coach, but from what I've talked to people about this and, like, what I've seen, I think the world of recruiting right now is a pretty easy gig. Now, I don't mean the fact that, yes, you still have to sit in some kid's living room and try to get him to come there. But, like, back when I was getting recruited, Brent, like, I couldn't just go on the website and be like, all right, this is what they have to offer, this is what they're good at, for their majors, this is what their football team brings to the table. And sometimes I couldn't even watch them on TV. Nowadays, man, you can watch pretty much any D1, D2, or even a D3 school on the internet, right?
You get an 8th grader on video.
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of you're already kind of, like, familiar with, like, the university. So when the coach comes in there to try to recruit you to, play for him, I don't think he's really selling the school anymore because you know what the school is all about. Sure, he may say, like, this is what we believe in, but he's mostly selling himself.
Yeah.
And if you're selling your
facilities.
Well, self and facilities as well. But even then, the recruits know the facilities ready before the coach even comes there. But my point is, if the coach comes in and he's passionate about the university, well, he's selling himself. And himself is the university. So I think that is an advantage, and it's something to keep an eye on.
One more thought on Bob Stoops and how it could play out and the ramifications if it doesn't play out. Coming up, we'll talk a little bit more about it. So much more to get to next couple hours. We're live down at the arena. Jacksonville Icemen played this morning. They lost 5-4 in front of a record crowd. We'll be back on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
Golick and Wingo.
Aaron Rodgers, as Stephen A. Smith likes to say, is a bad man.
but how spectacular Aaron Rodgers was able to be. I mean, all we're going to remember is that freak show throw to Aaron Jones in the end zone. I don't know if it was a throwaway or not, but what it was magic.
Aaron Rodgers looks like 2 straight weeks now. He's in the flow with Matt LaFleur. But if you're the Chiefs, you got to say to yourselves, we had every opportunity to win this game with our backup quarterback. That defense let him down.
Golic and Wingo, weekdays at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. College can be like a soap opera at times, and that's without playing a Division I sport. The soap opera continues from Memphis standout freshman James Wiseman, the projected #1 pick in the NBA draft next summer. Today, the school ruled him ineligible. For now, this after he dropped his lawsuit against the NCAA. Now remember, Wiseman was declared likely ineligible by the NCAA last Friday, but the school received a court-ordered injunction so that he could play, and he has. ESPN college basketball reporter Myron Metcalf says that may cost Memphis down the line.
Memphis tried to go in a different direction, and I think at some point they realized, wait a minute, this thing could get ugly. Why not just let's make something happen? He misses some games and we move forward. But they could have already started that process instead of trying to defy the NCAA.
Memphis coach Penny Hardaway gave Wiseman's family $11,500 before he was the Memphis head coach so his family could move. No Kawhi Leonard tonight. Low to management when the Clippers visit the Pelicans. Second night of a back-to-back Thursday night football. The Steelers go for a 5th consecutive win. They visit the Browns 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time.
Brought to you by Little Caesars, where you can get a large thin crust pizza topped right to the edge with cheese and pepperoni, and only $6.49 at participating Little Caesars locations, plus tax where applicable.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Small business owners, it's been a great year, and now it's time to begin to make some end-of-year decisions. Instead of giving your hard-earned money to the tax man, consider reinvesting in your business with a quality pre-owned truck, van, or commercial work vehicle from Jacksonville Truck Center. With the largest selection of pre-owned work vehicles in North Florida and easy commercial financing, let us be your one-stop shop to get the job done today. We're on the corner of Arlington Expressway and Southside Connector. Stop by today or visit us at JacksonvilleTruckCenter.com.
The cooler temperatures are finally here, and that means it's time to play some golf at a great golf course. Go to the Golf Club at Southampton in North St. Johns County, located off County Road 210. Unbelievable promotion here. 2 free months of full golf membership and a $500 gift card with a paid initiation fee and a 12-month commitment. The Golf Club at Southampton, home of the Dream 18 and your new golfing destination. For information on these unbelievable programs, call the Golf Club at Southampton at 904-287-PLAY. That's 904-287-PLAY.
Trade pros. Whether you specialize in service or new construction, Ferguson knows firsthand how much work goes into a long day on the job, which is why we're committed to offering the products and solutions to get every job done right. With over 1,000 locations, an unmatched selection of specialty products, tools, and supplies, our pro pickup and same or next day delivery, you can trust that doing business with Ferguson will be the easiest part of your hard day's work. Visit Ferguson.com to find a counter location near you.
Guys, the secret is out. If you want healthy sex, your body needs nitric oxide. And now you can boost your nitric oxide production faster than you thought possible with Ageless Male Tonight, the absurdly fast formula from the #1 brand in male enhancement. Just take 1 capsule an hour before romantic activity. You'll get clinically tested ingredients that rapidly boost nitric oxide production, and it won't go unnoticed. Rush to Walmart and get Ageless Male Tonight.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
Everybody looking at me saying Odell's a great job. No, God, that's a hell of a job. Every coach, everybody on this staff, I appreciate you guys. This person appreciates y'all. Yeah, hey, it's not about me. It's about y'all. Hey,
That's Odell Higgins after the win up in Boston College and Florida State, all fired up in that locker room, and you can feel it, right? You can feel the passion, just what we were talking about before the break, and he has that. How much does that matter? How much does that matter to the university? How much can that translate to being a CEO of a football team? By now, would Odell Higgins have had a chance already to be that guy? You know, all those questions are in play, but I think Eddie O has kind of changed the game on some of that stuff. He really has. Mm-hmm. He's put people and believers out there and doing it this way, and I think people are so emotional. I think there's a big hashtag Hire Odell movement going on in Florida State, and listen, whatever you think is going to work is going to work. I don't even mind outside the box. I just think you'll be a little bit careful, and I'll say it again. They need a safe play here. They can't have somebody come in and be 5-7 and 4-8 and 6-6. They need somebody kind of like Florida did, and Florida's hope is they win big, and they've probably already exceeded expectations under Dan Mullen this early. But I think the play with Florida was at the very least Dan Mullen's going to win himself 8 games in a bad year, 9 games most years, and 10 years probably more often, 10 games more often than not. And they found that guy. Now, my question, and I think everybody's question will be until he does it, can he win the big one? But Florida State needs to find that guy in some way, shape, or form. Now, that goes back to Bob Stoops, and it all starts with Bob Stoops. How much is he in play? How much were the early reports correct that this would happen, even though they said it was happening like imminent, and that wasn't the case? The national guy said, he's not even interested in it. Well, I'm not so sure about that because we still have Bob Stoops rumors, and anybody close to that program keeps floating Bob Stoops, and people on social media, some think it's already done. I mean, again, I don't believe it's done unless something has come out, and I just haven't seen it on social media in the last few minutes. But I don't think anything's done or we would know by now. That's the way the sports world works now. Nothing's staying buttoned up if it's been done, okay? That doesn't happen. But there's all this talk yesterday of all these hundreds of millions of dollars by the donated to Florida and the athletic programming and all that stuff. So everything's in place. It could be for Florida State. So to get Bob Stoops, there's a sign here to me. There's 2 big things about this whole thing. And let's see if it happens or not. But one, it's crystal clear that Bob Stoops misses football in some capacity because he's agreed to coach the XFL team.
Correct.
And be in charge of it and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So if he's agreed to do that, even though that's less of a grind, right? It's not as big as being a big-time college football coach, Power 5 school.
It's a lot
more of a
time.
part-time gig.
Exactly.
Right? The bottom line is he misses it to some degree. And when you have lived that life, and then you feel like you miss it to some degree, you're getting back in one way or another, and it's really not hard to get back into what you've been doing, especially when they throw millions of dollars at you and say, hey, we want you to be the guy at Florida State. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one part of it. The other part of it is the sense of disappointment if Bob Stoops isn't the guy in Tallahassee, I think now is going to be real. Because I believe the names that have been floated around, the names that could be in play, and they might be fantastic football coaches, no disrespect to them, but there will be this mega drop-off between names that Florida State will get versus a Bob Stoops who many people think they could be in play for.
Yeah.
And that will be a tough thing to handle in Tallahassee. And by the way, I do believe there's a big drop-off. I mean, look at the resume of Bob Stoops. It's a great resume. So there is a drop-off naturally, but that doesn't necessarily mean the guy they hire won't be successful and maybe even better than Bob Stoops was. I just think the instant reaction, if they don't get this done with Stoops, if he's really not interested or they can't come to an agreement or they just don't get it done, this is going to feel like a gut punch once again to Florida State because of all the talk about it this month.
Okay, so first of all, when you talked about Odell Higgins, could he come off as any more of a defensive line coach when he was talking to those guys, man? Like intensity, rah-rah, like that's D-line to a T, man. So I respect that being a former defensive lineman myself. The interesting thing about Odell Higgins and the fact that you kind of mentioned a little bit of the same situations happening right now in LSU, it's the fact that you see the team starting to rally around him. Right, like some of the players in that Florida State team, they have made it abundantly clear that they want him to be the head coach, all right? Now, of course, you kind of maybe take the player's opinion with a grain of salt if you're the AD and everything like that. But to be fair, and maybe I'm completely off, and maybe my ear's not close enough to the ground in Florida State, but how many guys were supporting Willie Taggart when he left? Like, how many guys said, you know what, that was our fault, he should have been fired when he was? Like, I didn't hear a lot of players having Willie Taggart's back. And then that's just what I mean. Now, maybe behind the scenes they have, But I'm saying nobody really came on Twitter, but I saw. No one had a press conference saying, it's our fault Willie Taggart didn't make it, okay? But at the same time, everyone's going to bat, it seems like, for Coach Hagan.
Yeah, I will say, I don't know if we got enough of that play, but I get what you're saying. I do think there were people who are like, we love you, Coach, and Taggart and all that stuff. So I think there's still a camp of people, although people knew that it might be coming, there was a camp of people that said, wait a minute now. This has only been less than 2 years. This guy had to clean stuff up. And I think people internally feel that way, externally feel that way. It wasn't a vocal minority. Or it wasn't a vocal group, let's just say that. So to your point.
But I'm saying they're being very vocal for Higgins.
This is a vocal thing. But again, we always say this. It's a great phrase. I love it. Prisoners of the moment, right?
Sure.
And I think that's part of this. First of all, from the student-athlete perspective, and with all due respect to the student-athlete, they don't know who the heck should be the next football coach at Florida State.
No,
but they might love their guy, and they should love their guy, and that's okay, and they should go to bat for him. But they really have no idea who should be the coach for the next 10 years, 12 years, 15 years.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure the Florida State administration does either.
Well,
but they know more than the players.
No, I absolutely agree there. But at the same time, you look at Ed Orgeron. Those guys love playing for Ed Orgeron.
Yes.
Ed Orgeron was the head coach at Ole Miss. How'd that work out for him?
Yeah.
Not too good. Now, granted, he has more talent in LSU, but there is something to be said for taking the players and making them want to play for you. And right now, I'm just saying Higgins, he has that locker room. Now, does it turn into anything? Probably not. But the other point I was trying to make is the fact that with Florida State right now and the timing of Willie Taggart getting fired, right, during the middle of the season when you're still trying to be bowl eligible, the last thing Florida State wants to do right now is go 2 years without being bowl eligible.
Yeah.
That would be an absolute embarrassment for that school.
Quite frankly, it should have been 3.
Well, yeah. But so to be fair, when you talk about that and you talk about, well, you're going to fire Taggart during the middle of the season, it begs the question, did they already have a plan in place when they fired Taggart? Because that would make the most sense to me. Whether it's Stoops or whether it's a big name maybe we haven't talking about yet, the fact that they got rid of Taggart when they did during the middle of the season, which does the players no favor. It does the senior players in that football team or the juniors that are trying to get to the NFL draft, their last time through Florida State, it does them absolutely zero favors. So from that perspective, to get rid of Taggart as early as they did during the middle of the season, it could prompt you to kind of guess, you know what? There's already a plan in place right now. Maybe we're not hearing about it from the Florida State, from the AD or whatever like that. But there is probably a plan in place due to the timing of everything going on.
Yeah, and absolutely. And I think that's kind of what everybody's instant reaction was. Like, okay, maybe they got something going. If you got something going, well, that's usually with a guy that doesn't have a job because you're not going to talk to the rest of them until the regular season's over. So that's usually in early December or late November. So that guy that's out there floating around is certainly Bob Stoops, and there's the connection of the dots. So we'll see what happens. But I will say this. If they don't – Bob Stoops trumps everybody. Odell Higgins, everybody. If they don't get Bob Stoops, I wonder how much that does bring a guy like Odell Higgins into at least the mix, into the play, depending on who else you can get and how much you have to pay and how great you feel about them. I mean, if you're going after – I think that Clausen at Wake Forest has done a fantastic job. Oh, man, that doesn't give me a lick excited. I mean, if I'm a Florida State, it really doesn't. It might be a great move, but it doesn't give me a lick excited. I mean, nothing. Now Norvell at Memphis, I could buy into that.
Yeah.
I could buy into something like that.
But Brent, you talk about getting excited. Dan Mullen, and I'm not a Florida Gator fan, but when the Gators got Dan Mullen, that didn't make me excited.
It didn't get people excited like Scott Frost and Chip Kelly. So
Correct.
You're right. But at the same time, it got people enough – there was enough resume there that we have not been able to throw the football and play quarterback at this university. At the University of Florida, where we have 3 Heisman Trophy winners, we have not been able to throw the football. Right?
Yeah.
And this guy is great with quarterbacks. And his resume said so, and he's been here with one of our Heisman Trophy winners. So I think that eased people. That at least gave you something to grab onto. So if you're not going to get somebody super excited, you better give him something to grab onto at the very least. I think John Bachman's hanging out back in our chair in the Action Sports Shack studios.
Gentlemen,
what's
hello.
up, John Bachman?
Hey, how you guys doing?
You came up early today, Bachman.
Every now and again, I get free time earlier than I expect, and so I can't wait to get up here, so I come as soon as I can.
All right, Bachman, I've got something for you now.
All right.
I've been thinking about this. Congratulations, Bartram Trail beat Creekside last night.
Huge win, big rivals.
Looks like you're.
It was a tight game too, by the way.
Anna played well. Daughter played well.
Yeah,
and
she
that's
did.
good.
Yep.
And got to play. Awesome.
Right.
But
uh-oh.
I think we need
There's
to
a
create
but.
something.
Uh-oh. Okay. All right.
Now, I don't know if I should wait till my kids fully get there or we could start this now.
Uh-oh.
But we need to create like an Action Sports Jacks Cup. Maybe it's the Brent and Bachman Cup.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. Everybody loves the cup, right? But I don't like the cup. Let's go think of something else. But We need to create this Creekside versus Bartram thing.
I think you're right. Right.
And who cares if they buy into it or not? But we're keeping score, damn it. Okay. And I want them all to know that.
All right. I like that. I think we got something here.
And, you got that, you baseball guys, King, Fitzpatrick, you guys better bring it on the diamond now. And I think we got something here, right? What do you think?
I do, and I think you have an advantage right now ahead of me because you call the games, and so you already know the guys on your team. I'm going to have to do some research to figure out everybody's name on our teams.
Well, I just gave a shout-out to Fitzpatrick.
I know.
He's the baseball coach. He's the baseball coach at Bartram, man.
Well, that's good. Okay, all right. See, I didn't know that. See, that's what I'm saying. I got to do some homework. I'm a freshman.
All right, so time out from the game here. Are we doing all sports in general, or the sports that your kids play?
No, it's going to be an all sports thing.
Yeah, it has to be because
so we're doing like cross country. We're doing all the sports.
We got to do all the sports.
Oh,
Listen, we love all the sports.
I like
we
it,
love
man.
all the kids.
Band? We throwing band in the mix?
No,
absolutely. Let's do band.
No, we're not doing
John.
band.
Yep. John's sticking up for the little guy, man.
Sorry,
I appreciate
band
that.
members. We're not doing. You can have your own saxophone committee, Austin Lane, but we're not doing the band.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna go to both high schools. I'm going to scout their pet bands and see who has a better saxophone team then.
Boom.
That's good. That will be a tiebreaker.
Yeah, it's going to be a 31-year-old dude just sitting in the stands just taking notes. Okay, got it.
No, this isn't just a 31-year-old dude.
Sorry,
he's got dreads and a beard.
Yeah, he will
and
stick out a little
bit. There's no way you'd ever say that he played the freaking saxophone in high school.
Baritone saxophone. Breno's the big one. Don't worry about it.
That's right. It
was the big one.
All right. Hey, we got to put some thought into this, Bachman, okay?
Yeah, I'm in. I love
we'll get
this.
The schools to sign off. Like, this isn't like a bet, okay? So it's not gambling.
Okay.
It's a friendly competition, maybe with even a donation to charity at
I
the
think
end
at the end we could donate to the opposite booster, and we would maybe have to wear the opposing school's garb.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Listen, I got a lot of friends who are at Creekside. In fact, Anna played against a couple of her teammates yesterday that were on Creekside that played a lot of minutes, actually.
That's the beauty. I mean, like all the kids that Ty and Kaylee have played against, a lot of them are split up now. Some are Creekside, some at Bartram. But I've already told them I don't like them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's time to really, take sides, I think, is really what it is. What does that mean? That means we're no longer friends. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, it's going to get to that point. And I also think that Bartram Booster Club, man, they're rolling in the dough, so they don't need any more.
No, come on now. That's not true. But they're doing well. They're doing well.
Accusations being said right now on ESPN 690.
Anyway, we'll have
a lot of those good folks at Bartram. Don't you be playing now.
Great people over there. And I actually do root for them a lot. So we're gonna have to do this though. I was thinking of that this morning or last night. I don't know. After I was seeing that Anna was playing and it was Bartram Creekside and it was 1-0.
I mean, it doesn't matter the sport. It's a great rivalry. I mean, it really is. And they're both. I mean, I don't know the other programs well, but I know in football it's a good rivalry. They're well matched. Soccer obviously is definitely well matched. I'm sure all the sports are, right?
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know that for sure, but I'm pretty sure. Like, listen, football's been way ahead of Creekside.
Well,
but
you're right.
Creekside's starting to catch up a little bit.
Right.
But football has certainly been way ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of sports. There's probably a sport that Creekside's way ahead of Bartram. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
So anyway, we're gonna have to look into that. I think we're gonna do that, and it is kind of cool down there because you know so many people. The zoning down there is bizarre. It's almost like, why does that kid go to Bartram?
We're not. Right? Our particular neighborhood is closer to Creekside.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, like, we definitely should go to Creekside where we are.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people. You're like, why do they go to Bartram?
Mm-hmm.
And so that does happen. All right, we're going to settle on that. We're going to launch that.
And by the way, with as much rezoning, Brent, as they do, I may not be. I mean, it's possible we get this thing set up, and next year my kids aren't going to Bartram. So
they're like going to Nice or something.
Yeah, exactly. That wouldn't be as much fun, by the way. So hopefully we stay.
All right. What you got coming up tonight? CBS 47.
Oh, man, do we have a story for you. This is one of those stories where I tweet about it, and I have to really watch what I tweet.
Oh.
We have a couple of individuals in Nassau County who decided that they were bored and went into a hotel that was about to open. And this is all according to a police report, by the way. And decided that it would be fun on a entertainment for them to just destroy the place. So this is like a brand new hotel with TVs and everything else inside is getting ready to open. It's supposed to open. It may still open on time in December. but just went to town on the inside. They did hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage.
Wow.
And they shot their own video.
Oh, my God.
So
Instagram money.
There is video of this, and that's not even how officers say they caught these guys. That's the teasing part here, see?
All right.
So we're going to be able to show you some of this video that officers released to us, or maybe we found it, actually. I'm not even sure how we got the video, but we have the video. And then we'll tell you how officers managed to catch these two suspects who face some serious charges, because you know that hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage is a serious deal.
I would imagine. What's the stupidity level of this?
I would call it very high.
Yeah.
John, I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but what was the age group of these guys?
What would you expect?
I mean, it's a bunch of teenagers that had mom's credit card is what I'm picturing.
Well, I don't know if it's quite that. These guys were they were I believe the ages were old teens or early 20s.
Okay.
So you're not far off, but
still
that's where
old
you're
enough
at.
to know better.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm telling you, you're gonna when you see the story. What I'm trying not to tell you to give it all away is how they caught these guys, and I'm telling you, it makes the story even better. Well, worse, better, depending on how you look at it.
Would this be a good episode of Cops or what?
I think it would. I think to some degree, this would be like this would be a perfect like Florida Man Cops episode.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
Yeah, they were not carrying alligators in the hotel, but just about everything else would fit.
All right, John Bachman, CBS 47, Fox 30. Can't wait for that story tonight. 5 o'clock
couple of rock stars.
CBS 47 and Fox 30. By the way, 7 o'clock tonight coming up on Fox 30. Jaguars All Access we'll have right after John and Tanika and Mike Burish give you the news and weather as well. Thanks, man.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, have a good night. We're going to take a timeout. We come back, a little Ballin and Fallin. I want to get into cheating in sports. More Icemen talk as well, as they had a record crowd here today. They got a big weekend coming up. We'll get back to the Jags as well. A lot more to get to here on a Thursday edition of Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690. Oh, and there might be a little Casey Musgraves mention.
Yeah, but she didn't get Entertainer of the Year. BS. Garth Brooks, never heard of him.
He calls himself
Garth
a
Brooks,
fan, Coos.
Never heard of him.
Calls himself a fan.
We got Casey Musgraves at Coachella and then turns around and performs at the Grand Ole Opry. She can't get Entertainer of the Year. Give me a break. Rigged.
We'll be back.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Plenty of clouds, but milder temperatures today, along with some scattered showers, highs from 65 to 70. Join me beginning at 5 p.m. for CBS 47 Action News Jax from the First Alert Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burish.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update. I'm Jake Mitchell. Minshew Mania may have cooled off, but Gardner still has one fan rooting for him, Nick Foles.
I'm proud of Gardner for everything he's done. He's a tremendous player. He's been amazing in the QB room, and I've really enjoyed watching him play and develop as a young player.
The Jags take on the Colts this Sunday, and Nick Foles' long-awaited return to the field after an injury suffered in Game 1. There are already confirmed attendees for the Colin Kaepernick workout Saturday in Atlanta. Reps from Miami Dolphins, Detroit Lions, Atlanta Falcons, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers have confirmed, and John Elway has confirmed the Denver Broncos will also be represented, as well as the Washington Redskins, the Dallas Cowboys, and Arizona Cardinals. More to come. Stay connected with ESPN 690 while you're at work by listening on ESPN690.com. The best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers wholesale prices with premium service, and TireOutlet.com always has a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, there's no need to go anywhere else for tires and service.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where you can get 20% off store-wide, including loose diamonds with special financing, only at Beard's Diamonds.
Trust, tradition, and quality. A winning combination to feel good about your home. Sometimes it's just that time to replace your roof. Or maybe you need to fix your roof after a recent storm. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jax, and there are so many roofing companies in the area. But which one can you trust? Let me tell you about my friends at Jack C. Wilson Roofing Company. Trust a family-owned business with owners that grew up right here in Jacksonville. Talk to the owners directly, get free estimates, and you can trust Jack C. Wilson Roofing to walk you through each step of the process. Tradition? Jack C. Wilson is a name you know. The longest-standing roofing company in Northeast Florida. They have been repairing and replacing asphalt shingle roofs since 1946. How about quality? A roof you will tell your neighbors about. Quality from start to finish, shingle by shingle. You can request a free estimate at jackcwilsonroofing.com. It's the first name in Jacksonville roofing. And make sure you let them know Brent Martineau sent you.
If only Toyotathon was good on used cars, too, huh? Wait just a minute. It is. Toyotathon is on, even on used, when you shop at Arlington Toyota. With over 400 pre-owned on the lot every day and 60 vehicles priced at under $12,000, you know where you're going to find the ride that's just right. It's at Arlington Toyota. Did you know with every pre-owned purchase at Arlington, you join the club, the Arlington Toyota $5,000 Advantage Club? It's filled with savings, benefits, and rewards to take your Arlington purchase to the next level. Just think about it. When you buy pre-owned from Arlington, you get Toyotathon savings even on used, plus the Arlington Toyota $5,000 Advantage Club, plus top dollar for your trade, plus same model year cars, trucks, and SUVs. So I got to ask you, what are you waiting for? It's time to save at Arlington. Toyotathon is on, even on pre-owned when you shop at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com.
Hey everybody, Trey Wingo here from Golic & Wingo. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest growing sports station in Jackson. It's clear Northeast Florida has great taste in radio. I mean, you're listening to me every morning, right? Join the ESPN 690 team and get your business notice today. The First Coast is making the switch to ESPN 690, and there's no better time to get your business in front of them. Call ESPN 690 today, 245-8732. That's 245-8732. Grow your business today on the new ESPN 690.
Moscow Ballet's Great Russian Nutcracker dazzles this Christmas. Bring the whole family together for the original holiday tradition. Step into a simpler time filled with sweet dreams and spectacular magic. Experience world-class artists, stunning costumes, and towering puppets on the Gift of Christmas tour. It just wouldn't be Christmas without Moscow Ballet's Great Russian Nutcracker. Get tickets now at nutcracker.com.
Appearing at the Florida Theater December 22nd. Get your tickets today at nutcracker.com.
Our partners at BSN Sports, the largest provider of team sports equipment and apparel in the country, would like to thank all of the coaches out there who truly are the heart of the game. While BSN Sports is the best at equipping athletes with a one-stop shop for everything needed to run an athletic program, coaches are the best at equipping lives. And that's the real final score. Learn more about how BSN Sports can save you time off the field so you can impact more lives on it by calling your local BSN Sports sales professional or by visiting bsnsports.com today.
This is the sale smart jewelry buyers wait for.
Beard's Diamonds 20% off sale on everything in their massive showroom.
Including loose diamonds.
Yes, 20% off everything at Beard's Diamonds.
In the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Shop the 904.
We're local, you're local, shop local. This holiday season, shop local retailers right here in the 904.
If you're looking for unique gift ideas that have a real beach and unique Jack's flavor, check out the Caribbean Connection Clothing Store on 3rd Street in Jacksonville Beach. You'll find all kinds of unique fashions and gift ideas.
When you shop the 904, you're also giving the gift of helping your local community stay unique.
Shop the 904.
Powered by Cox Media Group.
What's up, Jacksonville? Angie here, president of Angie Staffing. If you're finding it harder and harder to find the right candidates or your ads are letting you down, call me, Angie Staffing, 904-703-8880. I have over 20 years of experience right here in Jacksonville. I can help with anything, accounting, finance, legal, even that one position that's impossible to fill. Angie Staffing, 904-703-8880. We're bringing back the hustle.
When the time comes to get your roof replaced, call Big Fish Roofing. We don't require any upfront deposits, and we are locally owned and operated by Jacksonville natives who have built their business on quality and integrity. At Big Fish Roofing, we know your roof is the first line of defense against the elements, so we make sure to deliver a quality project in a timely manner. You can find us at bigfishroofing.com or facebook.com/bigfishroofing, or give us a call at 904-685-8334.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Austin Lane from Action Sports Jax. Thanks for making ESPN 690 the fastest-growing sports station in Jacksonville. It was a lot of fun playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars for 3 years, and I'm having just the same amount of fun on the radio every single day with ESPN 690. So I'm reaching out to you to be part of our team and grow your business with ESPN 690. Give us a holler at 245-8732. That's 245-8732. We look forward to hearing from you and hope you join the team.
Lose weight forever. Well, that's what our clients are doing after visiting McGowan Medical Centers. See, the plan that we have is not for us to keep you coming back. We will teach you how to eat right, live right, and look right. Forever. Call us for your complimentary consultation and make this the last call you'll ever need regarding your weight loss. It's a lifetime, lifestyle-changing weight loss program designed just for you. Give us a call now. Don't wait. 350-5544. McGowan's got your back, literally, and your waistline too.
Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690.
If there was an award you can give a guy that has the fastest get off in the NFL, I would be campaigning for that award for Marcel Darius. It's not only the first step, Brent, it's also the hand placement.
Catch Brent and Austin weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. on ESPN 690 or ESPN690.com.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30. Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
You know, a year ago we said, hey, they're building this thing around luck, and they're starting with it up front to protect it. You know, they're doing the same thing now. You know, if you're strong up front on both sides of the football, you got a chance each and every Sunday. So, obviously, their center and Kelly, their left guard is as good as there is in football. He does a nice job in pass protection. He can grade you out at the point of attack, and he's really good at pulling. He's one of the elite guards, in the game of football right now.
Are the Indianapolis Colts the only football team in the NFL that their best thing is their offensive line? Like, that's what scares you about a football team is your offensive line. I mean, seriously, that is their best thing that they have, offensively, defensively. And they might be sound in a lot of different areas. You might like Jacoby Brissett. You might like their defense, Darius Leonard, all those people, right? And they have some talent. I'm not talking about that. T.Y. Hilton can be very good when healthy.
Sure.
But if you look at their football team, the first thing you go to is their offensive line. It's really good.
Well,
you don't do that in the NFL very often.
The sad thing is, it's because of Quentin Nelson. Like, how many times?
Ryan Kelly's a good player.
No,
dude,
you
just mentioned all the players. Todd Washington was.
But let's be honest here, Brent. Though Quentin Nelson made a name for himself last year because he was screaming on film.
He was, which was fake.
Okay, well, if it was fake or not, but I'm saying he's a household name now because of that one play.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you go on the street right now, tell people give me 3 names of 3 guards in the NFL.
No,
they can't do it.
He's the only one.
But he's the only guy because Quentin Nelson, because for whatever reason, he's the household name now, but he's a great player at the same time. But Todd Wash is right. It is one in the trenches, Brent.
Well, it's one in the trenches, but I don't know if I say that complimentary or as that's how kind of blah their team is. You know, if you're the best thing about your football team is your offensive line, that's a good thing because you want a good offensive line. But it doesn't, I don't know, it's just not sexy enough for me, I guess.
What's the best thing about the 49ers?
Their defense.
Okay, but I'd also argue their ability to run the football as well and keep Jimmy Garoppolo safe, which is
but their defense is hands
line.
down. I mean, Nick Bosa, their defense, if you say that about a defensive line, it's totally different. Like the Jaguars' best thing about their team 2 years ago in 2017 was their defense, but it was like in a sexy kind of way. Like it's awesome.
Yeah. Turnovers
and sacks and those kind of plays. So the offensive line, man, I mean, outside of screaming on a play that I was pancaking somebody, sorry guys, sorry big fellas, but it's boring.
It is. You're absolutely right.
So what I'm trying to tell you is the Colts are boring. See, before that, you could always even go to Adam Vinatieri, who was like, hey, Hall of Famer, best kicker of all time.
But he's still a kicker, though.
He still is, but he's a bad one right now.
He is a bad one.
In fact, they do not want the game to come down to Adam Vinatieri.
No, of course
They're
not.
afraid to fire Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah.
And they don't want the game to come down to that. So that's kind of the way it is. Before we get to Bob Arablo, who you might be able to see a little bit here on our video feeds, Jacksonville Icemen, he'll talk to us in just a moment. We get to Ballin and Fallin real quick. And Kuz, I'm going with Ballin because you just gave – I was going to go Harden and the way he's been playing and the Rockets, but instead I do like the Austin Rivers trying to get his dad teched up, right, last night. You see that? He said it, and he did.
Yep.
And all I could think about is you got to be careful how much you ground your kids if they're going to be NBA superstars and you're the coach of another team, because that was back for all the discipline that Doc had on Austin Rivers, if he had any, and Austin got him back, said, I want to see my dad teched up.
Yeah.
Ejected. Get him out of here.
Well, and as Austin Rivers just put, it's going to be an awkward Thanksgiving, and he's absolutely right. Yeah, that's always an interesting dynamic, man, when you have a father versus son in an NBA game, and that was kind of a cool thing to see.
You know what's interesting, though, about that is I was thinking of the situation when I saw it, and I said, those guys are so competitive. And Doc Rivers probably at the time, although some would say it's kind of a fun chuckle moment because your son's trying to get you teed up, he probably wanted to rip his kid's head off.
Oh, of course, man. Of course. Remember, the cameras are always on, though. Oh, without a doubt. If that was my son, without a doubt, man. Like, hey, you're disowned for the rest of the NBA season.
That's right.
Don't even bother coming home for the holidays.
Well, to be fair, he traded him, too. He had him on the team and traded him.
Well, I don't know if he traded him, but yes,
the team traded him.
Yeah, he couldn't put a stop to it. It's kind of like this. Sometimes in ping pong when I play Ty, I'm like, you know what? It's all right if he beats me or he's getting a little better, or Kaylee too.
Yeah.
But there's other times where I get mad at him.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to kick their butt.
You know what? Yeah. In ping pong.
And usually I do.
In ping pong.
When I want to turn it on, I turn it on in ping pong.
See, but
I just beat Ty today. I beat him twice last night. I beat him today.
Yeah.
And I told Ty, I said, the problem with ping pong is I haven't played a lot lately, but the more and more you want to play me, the better and better I get because I've put it down for a while and I just get better and better at it. It's dangerous for you.
And it's crazy that we're talking ping pong right now on ESPN 690 and you're bragging about your skills. But I feel like
I would beat you in ping pong.
You probably would. You know why? Because ping pong's not my kind of sport because, like, you said you're getting all aggressive. You can't be aggressive in ping pong. Like, yeah, you can spike and everything, but to me, ping pong is like golf, where if you get a little over emotional, it's gonna default you. So you can go ahead and have ping pong.
What do you got for
I'm all
Ballin?
set. Oh, Brent, you know what I have for Ballin. Coos audio. Coos audio, please.
Martin switches out on Morant. No whistle. It falls.
That's a quality NBA finish right there. Didn't settle for the jump shot, attacked the paint, and the man got the roll.
Coos, where the heck was the holy cow call?
Coos, can we get the holy cow game winner?
I mean,
that was the one you sent me.
Coos, first of all, it was a minute long, and you had to go to the end.
This is what happens. This is what happens when Coos has a video game podcast to do before the show.
Regardless of what we just heard, John Morant, Brent, and listen, it's so hard not to brag about my Murray State Racers on a daily basis, but when John Morant's hitting game winners against the Charlotte Hornets with 20 seconds left, puts the team on his back, drives the lane against 5 guys, and puts the ball in, I got to brag about Murray State. So here we are again, man. John Morant balling, 23 points, 11 assists, taking the dub for the Grizz.
Bob Arabo, jump in on this. And I just want to ask you a question, Bob. I'm going to put you on the spot. You've been all around the world with the Jacksonville Icemen and with the ECHL, with hockey everywhere, and your business travels. Where is Murray State?
Brent?
I don't have a clue.
That's okay. That's okay, because you know why? Because it's not a hockey school. It's all good. It's not a hockey school, man. I don't expect them to know Murray State is. We're all good, dude.
It's all right.
We're all good, man. I'll tell you where we're at in the NBA.
If you got a minute, I can Google it.
Hey, no, you're all good. Hey, Brent, I will tell you where Murray State is. They're in the NBA right now, and they're in the NFL. Where's Ashland University?
Ashland University is in the NFL with Adam Shaheen.
Okay.
And we are 5th in the country in esports Fortnite.
True that. All right.
So there
I
we
went
go.
to school in Binghamton, New York, at Binghamton University, and we're not in the NBA. They don't have a football team, so we're not in the NFL. And I'm not sure that outside of the progressive lady Flo who graduated Binghamton.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure what other alumni that I could talk about.
That's all you need, though, I feel like. Yeah, she's always on TV, man. Yeah.
Yep.
That's really good trivia. All right, we're going to get to Fallin in a little bit. And part of my Fallin, I'm going to give it away, but I want to ask you a question because you've been around hockey. And maybe you know this too, Austin. But my Fallin is going to be the Houston Astros and this whole cheating thing with the balls and the fastball sliders, stealing signs, which a part of that's okay, but then possibly crossing the line, and it really looks like they may have with video. Is there a cheating in hockey that's okay? Right? Like a gamesmanship? Like, because sometimes
if you're not
there
cheating,
is.
you're not trying.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying. And by the way, I subscribe to that in a lot of different levels. But
ping
like,
pong.
Ping pong. That's right. But I don't. there is a line too, right? So, what is there any unwritten rule?
There
in
is
hockey?
a line. I don't think there is in hockey. This sounds like a Bill Belichick thing, and you know, I know I'm going to upset my brother-in-law because he's a huge Patriots fan, but no, in hockey, I think you know. The competition is all put onto the ice, you know, and it's such a team sport in terms of you know, it's really hard to cheat.
I got
it's
one.
really hard to do anything.
I mean,
that's
isn't
cheat.
sometimes the stick curvature of the stick? Sometimes they try to bend the rule and the stick.
They
right?
do. You know, and it's funny because normally the person who turns in a player that tries to bend his stick is the other equipment manager, because he can tell what a stick is too curved. With the kinds of sticks they have now, it's not a huge deal. It used to be much easier to curve a wooden stick on the spot by heating it up, but so you don't see that a whole lot anymore.
I also seem to remember too, like
There's a
the
penalty,
pads too, like
it is a penalty. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
pads
2
of
minutes.
goalies too, right? Whereas sometimes like the knee pads will be extended a little bit to try to get an extra inch on the knee pads.
Yeah, the referee is charged now with a whole checklist of equipment, and they go through that checklist. So you know, some of it's taken out. It's really hard to cheat at this point in hockey. You know, I really can't think of an instant where it's.
Yeah, I can't.
It's easy to do. You know?
I can't either.
Yeah.
But it's obviously we've seen it.
If
in the
you
NFL.
guys think of one though, you know, we're struggling a little bit on the ice. We could,
Well, that being said, you had a game this morning. You've been here since 3:30 this morning. Not just you, so many other folks helping put this together.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's kind of worth it. Not that you're hanging out with us. I'm not sure that's worth it. But it's worth it that you got 12,000 plus in here and set a new record in Northeast Florida. Congratulations.
It was awesome. This place was rocking just a few hours ago. And the game came down. We lost 5-4. It came down to the last seconds where we had shots on goal in the last 3 seconds of the game and almost tied it up. But the place was just incredible. I've never seen anything like it in all my years of hocky.
Really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
It was just great.
How was the Baby
kids
Shark
got
song?
into it, huh? The Baby Shark song was good. You know, it's funny. We were brainstorming yesterday because we didn't play our usual music and stuff that we would play. You know, when we have our beer drinking rowdy crowds here. But we did play we did play music aimed at the kids. And I realized how old I am at this point, where I can't even talk about what my daughter's old, and she's going to hate me for that one. But I can't even talk about the stuff she listens to anymore.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
We had more of a root beer crowd here today,
Yep.
and it was a great one though. And again, you lost the game, but we talked about it earlier in the week. When you have a crowd like this, you have all the kids here. This is a great place to market to the kids and say, hey, go home and tell your parents that was awesome. Well, you got an exciting game. I know the wins and losses do matter, and I know you guys, but
not to the kids that were here today.
No, that's what
though.
I'm saying.
I mean,
though, it's a 5-4 game. Say, man, there were goals all over the place. A couple of fights too, and
that never hurts.
Yeah, I mean that was a great. You got 12,000 kids that might have gone home, and thousands of them might have said, "We got to go back and watch."
Can't
the
wait to
Icemen
go
play,
back.
right?
You know, and it just so happens that 2 nights from now we have Marvel Night here, so we promoted that heavily.
And I'm seeing the jersey over here. And that is an impressive.
And this is what our team is going to be wearing on Saturday night.
Dang!
With Spider-Man here, and it's our annual Marvel night, Marvel Celebration night.
That is awesome. How many jerseys will you guys have in a course of a year? Do you know? Have you counted them?
I think this year we have 8 specialty jerseys, plus then our regular third jersey and our home road jerseys.
So Bob, so what actually goes into because this is obviously Spider-Man right here. He's a pretty big name in the world of comic books and comic book movies.
Even I've heard of him.
Even Brent's heard of him, man. So say no more, man. Everyone's getting involved with this thing. Yeah. But what exactly goes into requesting kind of this jersey, getting the Spider-Man look and everything like that? I mean, it can't be an easy process.
This is a real credit to the ECHL. Ryan Creelan took over as commissioner, and the first thing that Ryan realized, and I've known Ryan now, he's been the assistant for many, many years. The first thing he realized is that, yes, we're selling hockey, but we're also selling family entertainment. So as a league, we couldn't do this as a team, but as a league, he went to Marvel, he went to DC Comics, they went to Nickelodeon, And we now have 3 theme nights that every team has the option to participate in. We participate in all 3 of them.
Of course.
Because again, it's about bringing kids out, and that's why we were so excited about today. I think we created 12,000 new hockey fans, here. And Marvel Night will help bring some of those kids back, bring other kids in that are Marvel fans, bring adults in who are Marvel fans. And then later in the season, we'll have a Nick night. We'll have a DC comic night as well. And, that's what it's all about. It's about coming here, having a great time, even if you've never been to a hockey game or you don't like hockey for what I can't understand why. But, you come and you're going to have fun. You're going to be entertained. And every night there's something a little different going on.
Well, to that point, though, there's no sport that, and I'm not saying it's not good to watch on TV, but there's no sport that is incrementally that much better to watch in person.
Yeah. And especially with kids.
Than hockey.
Especially with kids, too. You know how it is, Brent. Like, trying to keep a kid's attention these days it's out of this world. But the fact that you have, the fastest game right now, in professional sports.
Go sit up by these boards and looking at that phone, then bam, you wake up
exactly. And then it's just the sounds, it's the crowd interaction, it's everything, man. And, if you're a kid and this doesn't entertain you, I feel like nothing's gonna. So
it's a very sensory sport.
Yeah.
You don't get that on TV. If you've only watched hockey on TV, you've never seen hockey.
Yeah.
And I can say that very, very confidently. It's a sport where you have to experience it. I actually prefer watching football at home. You get to see everything that's going on, the 15 different camera plays and stuff that you don't always see in the stadium. Hockey, you're not going to enjoy it on TV if you don't know the sport and you've never been to see it in person.
One more thought about the jerseys. What will you do after? And sometimes these get auctioned off and things like that. What goes on with this particular jersy after you wear them on Saturday night? Will be auctioned off?
We'll auction it right after the game on Saturday.
And how many players are probably saying, I'm a big Spider-Man fan. I'm keeping mine. Or do they have to,
they can
bid. Throw their
put it forward? Yeah, absolutely.
No, they can bid. I mean, these jerseys, what we do with our specialty jerseys like this is we do auction them off after the game, and the money goes to the Icemen Foundation or some other charity, and then through the Icemen Foundation we're able to support various different organizations, I know our fans and us so far in the less than 3 years we've been here have raised almost $400,000 for local charities, and that's important to us to give back.
It's so important, and we appreciate your support because Bob and the Icemen have been supportive of our Action Sports Jax Dream 18, and we love having you down the last couple of years. Yeah. So we appreciate that, and where those dollars go to help support other charities that we support as well. How big's your business card now? How many titles do you have? Fort Myers Miracle. Now you're involved with the baseball team down in South Florida because of the local ownership group. There's a big news of the offseason. We had you on and we were talking about it, but this local ownership group, and I think the significance of that, I think it can be kind of muddy and people glaze over it. The significant thing is you never know with sports that come in, especially new ones, even though this one's been highly successful, franchises, where they might go, how long they might be here. But there's a real belief that this thing is staying in Jacksonville for a long time. It's got local ownership. We had Daniel Murphy on, who's part of the ownership group now. But they also own the Fort Myers Miracles. And by the way, there's already an ECHL hockey team down there. So
we don't talk about those.
We don't talk about that. But that increases your role now, kind of spreading into the baseball realm a little bit as part of this company, right?
It does. The local ownership, to me, from day one was important. I needed to be able to say, when I first started bringing the idea of hockey to Jacksonville, a lot of people thought I was crazy. They've seen the history of hockey here, and even though that's in the past quite a bit, they said it just hasn't been successful. And I'm not going to ask people to invest in something that I don't think I can make successful. So we were able to look at each one of those teams that failed and saw why they failed, and it was for reasons that we felt we could control. And when we got here. We got here with a group that was very, very generous and an investment group that really saw my vision for hockey in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But the majority partner was looking to retire and said, I'll do this for a few years, but your dream is to have local ownership and we'll work that out. And we did this past summer. We have Andy Kaufman, who's come on. He moved his family here, I think 18, 19 years ago, moved a business here, has since sold the business. big sports fan, big baseball, big hockey fan. Bought the Fort Myers team in Single A, the Minnesota Twins affiliate, the Miracle, and then this past summer finished the deal to buy the Icemen and bring in all his partners, including me, our local people that live here in Jacksonville, and that are dedicated to keeping this team here in the long run. And you know what? With the way the fans have responded, that's an easy chore.
Yeah.
We're averaging over 6,000 a game since we started.
It's crazy. Crazy
so
good.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
My role has been to oversee the operation of the Icemen, and both on and off the ice. And now I'll be taking that same role on the baseball side of things. Though not in baseball is a little different. We have really no say in the baseball end of it. That's the Minnesota Twins, who have provided Fort Myers with a very competitive team for the last few years. But really to try to generate the same kind of excitement that we have here in Jacksonville every time the Icemen come onto the ice, and do that in Fort Myers. So yeah, getting busy, but it's a lot of fun. Andy's been a great guy. And we really want to make this work for the city, for him, for his partners, and the same thing with the baseball team in Fort Myers.
That's awesome stuff. Bob Arablo with us from the Jacksonville Icemen, and had a game this morning. He's been here since 3:30. Did you pack any lunches? Throw some apples, turkey sandwiches in?
I did. I did a few sections. Even the old guy could do it. We had about and I really have to take my hat off to my staff and our intern squad. They were here just as early as I was, actually some more earlier than I was, getting this all set for the kids that came in today. And they've been working around the clock on this night and on every one of our nights. And, I could never do any of this without them. And, Scott Einhorn and people like that really, really are the nuts and bolts of our organization.
Yeah, so many good people it's that make it work. Can you only do a certain amount of these days in a year?
The school days?
The school days? Is there a league limit?
No, there's no league limit at all. But in working closely with the school districts and the principals and the different schools, I think we had 5 school districts represented here today. They're limited on the number of field trips they can do.
Okay.
So it makes sense to do one day, and this is the day that they pick. We give them the choice of dates or weeks, and then we make sure the league puts that date on our schedule. And it's worked out. We started with 5,000 kids. We went to just under 9,000 last year, and this year we had 12,000.
Awesome.
So, it's a real credit to everybody on my staff. It's a real credit to the school districts and the teachers, because we do mix in education with these games too. There's a nice booklet the kids get where they tie hockey into their plans. Teachers have helped us write that book. And then throughout the game, we have trivia questions and stuff that really challenge the kids from an educational standpoint as well.
Bob, be honest, which atmosphere was louder? A bunch of kids missing school today, or like playoff fans, when it's a close game?
You know what? It comes in almost at a tie.
Okay.
The difference is the kids have a higher pitch.
Here we go. A little more of a home field advantage.
This glass back here, I wasn't sure it was going to survive the entire day, but it did.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations on the record crowd. I know you want to get some wins tomorrow night. Back at it Saturday as well.
Yeah,
and again,
we're back here tomorrow night against
Marvel
Atlanta.
Jersey night. Spider-Man.
After today's game, we owe Atlanta a loss for them. And then we have the Marvel night and the Orlando Solar Bears, the dreaded Solar Bears. So, our goal is to always beat teams in our division, always beat every game. But there's a special rivalry between us and the Solar Bears.
Absolutely.
So fans who come are going to see a lot of fireworks.
Well, good work. Keep up the good work. It's awesome. Thanks for having us out here. We'll be out here a bunch of times, and we're in the Iceman jersey. We love being out here with the Jacksonville Icemen.
Well,
Bob Arablo.
I just want to say thank you to you two guys. You guys are awesome.
Thank you very much for having us. Tomorrow night, Saturday night, Jacksonville Icemen. We'll talk a little bit more football plus cheating in sports. How many times did Austin Lane do it in the trenches? I can only imagine.
Statute of limitations
and
is
in
in effect, or
cage
we
now.
good? Yeah,
we know we did it on the golf course. It's coming up next on ESPN 690.
Oye, amigo, it is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Discovery Channel has greenlit Man vs. Bear. Each week, 3 grizzlies, Bart, Honeybump, and Tank, will take on 3 new human competitors to test the limits of strength, speed, and stamina.
Just want to be grizzlies. Let's have them play basketball.
What?
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
The holidays are on the horizon, and that means family and food. Hey, everybody, I'm Brent Martineau. Let Renna's Pizza help you out. Parties at school, parties at work, celebrations, or hey, maybe you're just tired of cooking yourself. Renna's has you covered with 5 locations in Northeast Florida. Want a fresh one? Renna's makes everything fresh. New York-style pizza, sandwiches, salads, pasta dishes, everything fresh. Find out why Renna's has been a family favorite for over 40 years. 5 locations in Northeast Florida, Marsh Landing, Bay Meadows, Argyle Forest, San Jose, and the newest location in Neptune Beach.
When you owe IRS or state sales tax and can't pay, call J. David Tax Law for effective tax help. J. David Tax Law can stop IRS or state collection actions and protect you from financial ruin. Call J. David Tax Law for a no-cost consultation at 904-507-4777. That's 904-507-4777 or at jdavidtaxlaw.com. Peace of mind is only a click or a phone call away.
Hey, boss, pass the peanut butter, will you?
Here. You know, I still can't believe we're eating PB&J for dinner.
Well, times are tough for us crooks. I mean, we can't find any houses to rob because they all have Safe Touch security signs.
Ugh, just pass the jelly, will you?
Cheer up, boss. 'Tis the season to be thankful.
I'd be thankful if I had earplugs. Now pass the jelly.
No, boss. Since we stay away from Safe Touch houses, we never have to worry about that 45-second or less response time or the two-way communicators. I'm thankful for that. So, what are you thankful for?
I'd be thankful if Lester Jackson moved to Alaska and took Safe Touch with him. Hey, you used up all the jelly.
What? Oh, sorry, boss. Here, you want a bite of mine?
Oh, I hate Safe Touch!
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
It's that time again, the time when I can finally say my favorite 3 words. No, it's not I love you, though those are pretty good words too. The 3 words I'm talking about, Toyotathon is on. And it's going on right now at Arlington Toyota. Arlington Toyota is the place to be when it comes to getting amazing Toyotathon savings on their huge selection. That's over 1,000 new and used on the lot every day. And it's all at Toyotathon savings. Right now, during Toyotathon at Arlington Toyota, lease a 2020 Camry LE for only $232 a month. That's a 2020 Camry for just $232 a month. Ready to unwrap a RAV4? Then get to Arlington Toyota where you can lease a 2019 RAV4 LE for just $216 a month. Just $216 a month. Plus, you get Arlington's $5,000 Advantage Club and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Toyotathon is on at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Toyotathon for offer details.
Trust, tradition, and quality. A winning combination to feel good about your home. Sometimes it's just that time to replace your roof. Or maybe you need to fix your roof after a recent storm. Hey, everybody, it's Brent Martineau of Action Sports Jacks. And there are so many roofing companies in the area. But which one can you trust? Let me tell you about my friends at Jack C. Wilson Roofing Company. Trust a family-owned business with owners that grew up right here in Jacksonville. Talk to the owners directly. Get free estimates. And you can trust Jack C. Wilson Roofing to walk you through each step of the process. Tradition? Jack C. Wilson is a name you know. The longest-standing roofing company in Northeast Florida. They have been repairing and replacing asphalt shingle roofs since 1946. How about quality? A roof you will tell your neighbors about. Quality from start to finish, shingle by shingle. You can request a free estimate at jackcwilsonroofing.com. It's the first name in Jacksonville roofing. And make sure you let them know Brent Martineau sent you.
Pop quiz. If you sell a home for $500,000, how much would a traditional real estate agent charge in commission? If you guessed $25,000 to $30,000, you're right. But if you think that's the only way, you're wrong. This is why thousands of homeowners are making the switch to Rex. With Rex, you get a dedicated agent and a full-service experience at a fraction of the cost. Rex uses game-changing technology to cut out the middleman and save homeowners tens of thousands of dollars in fees. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. Remember, this is your home. Why give an insane amount of equity away to an agent? Rex offers the lowest fee in the industry without skimping on service. You'll work with an experienced real estate team with you every step of the way. Get the most out of your home. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME.
Florida, CQ 1057788.
Minimum fee may apply. Not licensed in all 50 states. Visit rexhomes.com to see if Rex is available in your area. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
Locally owned and operated businesses give our community character by offering unique options for shopping and dining.
They are a big part of what makes living in the 904 so great.
Shop the 904. Powered by Cox Media Group.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Yo Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. Breaking news into the Sports Center newsroom. The Atlanta Braves have just announced they've signed left-handed reliever Will Smith to a 3-year, $39 million contract with $13 million on a club option for 2023. Smith had 30 saves for the Giants last year, top available closer on the free agent market, and he signed 7 months earlier than last year's top free agent closer. That was Craig Kimball. Memphis sensational freshman James Wiseman has been ruled ineligible today by the school after he drops his lawsuit against the NCAA, which he had called unlikely to play and unlikely ineligible last Friday. Wiseman played the next couple of games after a temporary injunction. All this stemming from Penny Hardaway giving Wiseman $11,500 and his family moving money in 2017. ESPN's Jay Billis on whether or not he plays again this year.
He will be able to play again. The $11,500 from a booster would normally be, according to the matrix that the NCAA uses, the third of the season or 9 games.
Wiseman dropped his lawsuit so the school and the NCAA could go about working to make him eligible.
Right now, Dodge is offering Power Dollars. Get $10 off for each horsepower of your new car, all the way up to $7,970 off for a Challenger SRT Hellcat Red Eye. Hurry into your local Dodge dealer today.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anna Jar and Levine studios. Anna Jar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jags.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anna Jar and Levine studio.
This is Action Sports Jags on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
You never know with a guy coming back that's been off for so long, and your goal early on in the game especially is to, especially if the quarterback's been playing a long time or he's his first game back, is to gain confidence early. And so, we're going to do some things that he's comfortable with and try to get, obviously, some things going early that we think we can have success with. He's going to be anxious to get back out there and play as well. So we just got to make sure we control those emotions. He and I have talked about that and take it one play at a time.
Oh, come on. Throw everything at him. Let's go, Flip. Get him rolling. Get to page 64 of that playbook if you need to.
It's the biggest game of the year. Can't hold anything back now.
Don't
Brent.
hold anything back. Leave it all out there. All those kind of cliches. But that's John DeFilippo, Jaguars offensive coordinator. And this is, listen, as fun as Gardner Minshew was and Minshew Mania and all that, everything we've talked about, this is a little bit of what was built for the Jacksonville Jaguars, right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who knows? Yeah. But this is what was built. So let's see it. I'm ready for it. I just don't know we have a good feel of what this Flip Foles offense is going to look like, the connection. And in fairness here, I might be saying it might not look that different. I mean, Gardner Minshew might have run most of that offense and did a good job running it. Mm-hmm. So it might not. But we don't know, is my point. And we will see a little bit more of it, that connection. And I think there is a little bit of that, right? I mean, there's a vibe of a guy, a play caller, and a quarterback, and getting on the same page and knowing what they do best. I mean, Foles talked about it yesterday. Frank Reich. Reich said, hey, you know what? Stop no, don't do that in the playbook. Do what Foles does well. And he kept bringing up the read and react stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that? Like the read and react in terms of don't just make a play that might look good on paper, but make a play that fits his ability?
Well, yeah, so it's a little bit of both here, because if you're an offensive coordinator or you're calling the plays, you can say – you can draw something up on the board and it would look 100% like, oh, yeah, this play can't fail.
Absolutely.
No matter what a defense throws at us, this is the money play right here. Well, to be told, sometimes the ego gets in the way a little bit and that play can be stopped. So I think it's sometimes where, they always say an offensive coordinator, they have a game script, right? So when the game starts, they have maybe 10 to 12 plays that they want to start out with. And that's how the script goes. Then from there, some guys had the philosophy of, okay, in the second and third quarters, pending the game's close, we'll call these plays and things of that nature. Well, sometimes you kind of have to go off of what the defense is giving you. I think sometimes what they're referring to here is the fact that sometimes an offensive coordinator's ego is up there where it's like, I don't care what the defense is doing. Our offense can't be stopped. Let's go at them.
Yeah.
At the same time where you have to understand, all right, the defense is maybe in the nickel package or something like this, and you kind of have to analyze everything. And it's two schools of thought. It's one school of thought that says, you know what? Let's take what the defense gives us. And the other school of thought is our offense cannot be stopped. I don't care what they have.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to do it. I think we all do it. I mean, I do it in our business a lot. I mean, you write something down for a script or a story, and then you read it out loud, and you're like, that looks better on paper. That sounded better on paper. Yeah. I mean, we do it all the time with the show. Like, hey, this is going to be a fun topic. Let's go get into this. I can't wait for
all
this
the segments that I bring up. Yeah.
And it sucks. And then all of a sudden we'll do some topic like, all right, well, let's just fill some time here.
Chicken sandwiches. Yep.
That's what happens. So, well, that's part of it, right? And I'll tell you what, the latter is more fun.
Oh, of course.
The one that you didn't plan, and then it becomes organic, and that's like the most fun part about doing the show for me. In fact, so I wonder if that's like from a football offensive coordinator, or someone putting a script out there, and kind of that stuff's like, well, we're just going to kind of try this, and we're not sure about this, but then it really works. Those are the most fun things. Those are organic developments, if you will, on the football field, or for us in a segment, or wherever it might be in your line of work. And I think that is more fun. It's almost more rewarding in a sense.
You're absolutely right. It is more fun. It is more rewarding. But let's be honest, it is more challenging as well, because you still have to analyze of what that offense or what that defense is giving you. And if you're incorrect, or if you fall for, if you take the cheese, basically, well, then you can look kind of foolish. So it is more fun. It is more rewarding, but it is more challenging.
All right, we are about to, with Nick Foles, compare the Eagles teams that he jumped in and was a part of.
So I took 2017.
Okay, just 17.
The Super Bowl, yeah.
So this year's Jags team.
Correct.
And what he's about to jump in with. So we're going to get that in a moment, but first let's hit the happy hour horn here on a Thursday.
Can't make nobody come between us. Can't make nobody come between us. Oh, cherry baby.
Declare this party now begin. See the beautiful ladies marching in. There's enough for everyone to win. We're gonna make this party the best thing happening. This is my favorite place. Nothing will replace, no. Nothing. Anything goes. Gangsters rolling, half-face smiling. It's all about think of the rhythm what you're drinking. Anything goes. Hey.
Get a drink, grab a shot, tip your star tenders.
Oh, you could maybe do that a little bit more at Murray State this weekend in the Hall of Fame celebration than you could the last time.
I didn't even think about that. I still have to write my speech first, and then we'll do that later.
No fight upcoming.
Yeah.
At least that we know of.
Well, I know it could be a short notice, so I have to mind the P's and Q's a little bit.
Yeah, you have to be a little careful. So lay off those chicken sandwiches. Hey, Vita de Louis recently got a 98 rating. Locally owned tequila right here in Jacksonville. Check out all the Vita de Louis social media and the website, VitaDeLouis.com. Make your own recipes with Vita de Louis tequila, one of the smoothest tequilas you will ever taste, made in Tequila, Mexico, and shipped directly to Jack's Beach. VitaDeLouis.com. 3 flavors now as well, Blanco, Reposado, and Añejo. And by the way, they're sponsors of the Jacksonville Icemen as well. I saw them on the boards over there. Little Vita de Louis. So very good. All right, let's go back. Here's what I want to do. The Foles Jags of 2019 that he's about to rejoin versus the Foles Eagles where they went to the Super Bowl. And they are different circumstances. This is actually a little bit more like the circumstance of last year in terms of record, right? The Eagles were 11-2, I think, when Foles took over for Wentz 2017, and they made that run. It was a few games down the stretch, and then it was the big playoff run.
Correct.
Here in Jacksonville, they're 4-5, and he's obviously trying to get this football team into the postseason.
Yeah, and to be fair, I could have broken down the 2018 team as well, but let's be honest, Brent, Super Bowls are fun, right?
They are fun.
And Super Bowls are the final goal. So I went with the 2017 Eagles offense, and I compared it to the 2019 Jacksonville Jaguars offense. So let's start with the most boring position, the big uglies. Let's get it out of the way before we get into the exciting stuff. And when you're comparing offensive lines of what Foles had back in 2007 compared now to the Jaguars in 2019, and keep in mind, these are the numbers from the entire season of the Eagles. So Carson Wentz was around for a lot of this too. And you could say maybe the offense evolved a little bit with Nick Foles, which I think it did. But this kind of shows you just what we're working with here in terms of the type of players and the performances that they're giving. So to kind of set the record straight here, the 2017 Eagles offense, they were third in the NFL when the season was over in rushing. They allowed 2 sacks per game. And they had 2 Pro Bowlers in Lane Johnson and Brandon Brooks. So not too shabby. When you compare that with the Jacksonville Jaguars of this year so far, we're 9 games in right now. The Jacksonville Jaguars are actually ranked 9th in rushing, which is kind of surprising because you think of Fournette, he's number 2 right now as a running back, but they are ranked 9th in rushing, and they also average 2.4 sacks a game, which is a little higher than the average that the Eagles had. And as far as the Pro Bowlers are concerned, I mean, we can go through the line, Brent. Do you see a Pro Bowler right now in the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive line?
Offensive line?
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a stretch.
Exactly.
I just don't know enough. Now, listen, is Brandon Linder playing at that level? I feel like he's played pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is, though, some of those early penalties in the first month of the year, I think he was a part of that. I don't know if people want to admit that because everybody likes to complain about Linder and his inability to stay healthy over the years and the big contract, but I would say overall, from front to back, he's probably been their most consistent guy because I haven't heard about him. That's really all that I would say. So to answer your question bluntly, no.
Probably not, right? So you're facing 2 Pro Bowlers on the Eagles versus 0 versus Jacksonville. And
Who was it? Do you remember who was it on the Eagles?
Yeah, I said it was Lane Johnson and Brandon Brooks.
I mean, Lane Johnson.
Yep, Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks, who was their right guard at the time. So, 2 Pro Bowlers, you're averaging more rushing yards per game, and you're giving up less sacks per game. So, obviously, right there, Brent, advantage Eagles offensive line. But to be fair, as far as the pass protection is concerned, not that far off. Going from 2.0 sacks a game for the Eagles compared to 2.4, so not bad considering, Foles has to stay upright and has to stay healthy.
Okay.
So the next we went with the running backs. And this was, to me, this was probably the most telling one in the fact that it's completely different what the Eagles did than what the Jaguars did, right?
And
so
you've always said there are 2 groups on offense, right? I mean, it's the tight ends and the running backs.
Exactly. So if we're talking about the running backs here, the Eagles relied more on a 3-headed monster, right? They had Corey Clement, they had J.A. Ajayi, and they had LeGarrette Blount. Each back essentially did the same thing. They all ran the same kind of, blocking schemes with those running backs to the extent, except Corey Clement and obviously J.A. Ajayi were more used in the passing game. Now, here's an interesting fact, though, about that whole thing. When Carson Wentz was the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles back in 2017, and this is surprising, the running backs in the passing game were not utilized. They actually averaged, I think they were like towards the bottom 4th of the NFL in terms of receptions per running back, per running back receptions per game. It wasn't until Nick Foles entered the fray where during the playoffs, Corey Clement and J.A. Ajayi combined for 12 receptions apiece in the playoffs. So their numbers in terms of getting the running back the ball, especially in the passing game, drastically went up when Nick Foles was in the game.
Good research right there, man.
With that 3-headed monster.
I like that.
So there you go.
I'm hanging on to that one right there.
Are you here? Are you coming with me now? Okay, so I have your attention now?
I am the owner of the Sunshine and Rainbows clubs here in Jacksonville.
So I have your attention now.
So,
all right,
by the way, I say
great.
clubs because we've expanded. We had to get a new facility.
So then this kind of begs the question right now, where in terms of better running back than Leonard Fournette, would you take Leonard Fournette or the 3-headed monster? Well, let's break down Leonard Fournette's numbers real quick. Leonard Fournette averaging 92.3 yards a game, just below 100 yards a game. And as far as his receptions are concerned, we don't know how many receptions he's going to have with Foles yet because we don't have those numbers. But if you compare him to the receptions right now that Leonard Fournette has on the team, it is almost dead even compared to the running backs in the playoffs.
The running back committee?
When Nick Foles played in the playoffs. So it's exactly pretty much the same. So it begs the question, do you want the three-headed monster or do you want Leonard Fournette? Because honestly, Brent, I'm telling you, the numbers are pretty much even right now.
Give me the three backs again.
Yep, no problem. Corey Clement, J.A. Ajayi, and LeGarrette Blount.
Well, listen, as a top back, I'll take Leonard Fournette over those guys.
Without a doubt.
LeGarrette Blount had some really good moments. I mean, from not only Philadelphia, but the Patriots and all those things. But I just think as a workhorse guy, as a go-to guy, I'll take Leonard Fournette. But what I think you have to ask yourself is, Leonard Fournette's this downhill guy. Well, LeGarrette Blount gives you that, right? He's giving you that downhill.
Yeah, correct.
The thing the Jags don't have in their backfield at their disposal is the other styles.
Yeah.
And Philly had that.
Correct, yeah. I mean, especially Corey Clement, right? Yeah. Corey Clement was really like kind of like that Darren Sproles type. He was like that James White type.
Poor man Sproles.
Exactly. He was like that James White type of the New England Patriots. And to be fair, I guess if you're asking which one I would take, I actually prefer the bell cow of Leonard Fournette over LeGarrette, and just for this reason. Because to me, LeGarrette Blount, he has the Carlos Hyde effect. When Carlos Hyde's in for the Houston Texans, 9 times out of 10, unless it's a screen or something like that, it's probably going to be a run.
That's a good call.
And now the question is, can you stop it, though? The Eagles had a great offensive line where they could run the ball. So LeGarrette Blount, who's a mammoth of a man, I played in the Senior Bowl with him, he's hard to stop.
Yeah.
So they had that going for them.
There's a little bit of a tell, though, when he's in the game.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think from the Jaguars' perspective right now, who doesn't have the offensive line like we just discussed, like the Eagles do, I think it's better having a guy that's kind of the jack of all trades as opposed to having that three-headed monster. When Corey Clement's in, you probably know it's going to be a pass. J.A. Ajayi is a little more balanced. Could be a run, could be a pass. And then obviously when you have LeGarrette Blount in, more than likely it's going to be a run. So I'll take Leonard Fournette here.
That's interesting. The one thing I will say in LeGarrette Blount's favor, I believe now, this is me just kind of remembering more so than looking, the Jags have struggled in the red zone to run the football.
Correct.
The Jags have sometimes struggled to get in the end zone. Leonard Fournette has, I think, 1 touchdown this year. LeGarrette Blount, when he got the football around the 2-3 yard line, if I remember correctly, he got in the damn end zone.
No, you're absolutely right.
So that is a part of the game,
teams.
and that's one of the big problems with this football team in Jacksonville right now is that red zone stuff. So you got to, again, I don't know who you take, but let's just say it's from a 3 versus 1 standpoint, there's a comparable nature to it because Fournette can still catch the ball out of the backfield. He does give you all 3 phases in terms of pass protection, running the football, and catching it. But I think you could also argue either way. Okay, I'll take it because Blount gives me this and Clement gives me this, and I like rotating the 3 guys in.
Well,
but I think it's a comparable situation in totality.
Well, and there is something to be said for that three-headed monster as well, Brent, of just getting some reps on the sidelines and getting your breath back. Because we've seen how many times where Leonard Fournette breaks off a 60 to 70-yard run, and all of a sudden they bring in Armstead, and not to knock Armstead right now, but he hasn't got the reps, right? Like I don't think he's been necessarily acclimated yet to the NFL.
I think he's done a fair job when asked to do
I
stuff.
think he's
but
done an okay
right.
job, but he hasn't
right?
he doesn't have the reps, so we don't know what he's capable of. So from that standpoint, maybe the three-headed monster is beneficial in the fact that if you're driving the ball, you can get those guys the reps.
I'm always looking for reasons, and you just brought up a good one. Leonard Fournette's constant carries, you almost wonder, usually when you're down in the red zone, right, or down near the 1, 2, 3 yard line, that's late in a drive. That's like 9, 10, 11 plays into the drive. You have to wonder his inability or the fact that he doesn't come out of the game very often.
Oh, I know.
How fresh is he at the end of a drive? I've never really thought about it until you just said that, and I might be making excuses for Fournette.
No,
but it's just
I don't
part
think
of
you
it
are,
because
Brent.
they don't have that. They have started to use Raquel Armstead a little bit more in terms of spelling him. They started to in the last month, but maybe they even need to do more of it to save some of the legs late in a drive. Forget about late in a game, late in a drive.
Well, listen, this is a copycat league, Brent, and outside of, I think, Ezekiel Elliott, I really can't name another back who just gets the amount of touches, first through third down like Leonard Fournette gets. Because, even Alvin Kamara, they still have Latavius Murray. You can go up and down the list. Even, I think, Bell in New York is getting backed up. I forgot the guy's name, but he's like the third down back.
How about Saquon, maybe?
Yeah, well, I guess
Saquon and Ezekiel.
Saquon's a good point there, yeah. That's a good one. He's a bell cow. But I think the trend, especially the teams that go to the Super Bowl, Brent, they have the thing in common where there's more than one guy.
That's a good call.
So then we're going to we're going to the receiving core in general.
Let's just not go to the tight ends.
Well, and
do we have to even go
there? This is why I said receiving core, because I want to include everybody. Because if I said tight ends, spoiler alert, Philly's got the advantage. But
they had Ertz.
Yeah. So
they didn't have Goddard then, though, right?
They did not have Goddard. They had Ertz, they had Selleck, and they had Trey Burton.
Oh, Trey Burton, and obviously
What you
Trey
forget
Burton
about.
was big in that. Philly special,
Absolutely.
obviously.
Yeah.
But Selleck had lost it, right?
Selleck was on the back nine of his career, only had 13 receptions the entire season.
Okay.
So,
but it was the Ertz, and they could really use Burton in a variety of ways.
Correct, yeah. And so when we analyze the receiving core in general, once again, I'm including the tight ends and wide receivers together just for the sake of the argument, because if I didn't do that, it would make the Jaguars look pretty bad. But in terms of the receivers for the Philadelphia Eagles, and keep in mind, this is the entire season, not just Nick Foles, but also with Carson Wentz. Zach Ertz, in that John DeFilippo kind of Doug Peterson offense, Zach Ertz was the leading receiver. Now, he didn't get over 1,000 yards, though. Only 824 yards for their leading receiver, their tight end.
That's big money out of a tight end, though.
It absolutely is. The second-place guy, once again, not over 1,000 yards, though. 768 yards for Nelson Aguilar.
How many catches?
He had 62.
Okay. And Ertz had how many?
Ertz had 74.
Okay.
Yep, and Zach Ertz led the team in catches as well. And led the team in targets to go along with that. Third place then going to Alshon Jeffrey, 57 receptions for 789 yards. And then Torrey Smith was kind of towards the bottom, who's their third receiver, 36 receptions, 430
So they had three guys over 50 receptions.
Correct.
Right now the Jaguars, if you look at their roster, they are on pace with, I think Dede has 32 catches. I think Chark has 43. And I think Leonard Fournette has 40. So they're probably on pace for three guys to go over 50 catches.
Wow, and you're not even cheating like I am right now. I'm looking at the stats. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So DJ Chark has 43 receptions with 692 yards.
Yeah.
So, with a few more games to play, one could argue, depending how he does, maybe we might see a guy go over 1,000 yards there.
What's Conley got? How many catches?
Chris Conley's got 23 receptions for 461 yards.
I'll be really interested now. He's only got 7 games versus 9 games, but 23 catches. Could he get to 50? Could they have 4 guys over 50 catches?
Yep.
That would be a lot for the Jags.
Sure.
I mean, I feel like there's been years where the Jags haven't had anybody over 50 catches.
Yep. So I guess in closing on my theory here is the fact that, listen, the leading tight end right now is Shaughnessy with 14 receptions. Okay, and guess what?
And he's been out for a month.
And he's out now.
He's been out for a month.
So this begs the question.
More than that.
And then this begs the question. Who's going to replace who's going to replace the tight end spot? Because Josh Oliver, we don't know about him right now. So from that perspective, someone's got to get those targets. Someone's got to get those catches. And when I break it down, obviously Chris Conley, you can make an argument for getting more receptions. And I still think Leonard Fournette, especially with Foles coming back, using the running back, especially, when things start to panic a little bit, you get nervous. The running back is a great go-to for a check down. But when you compare these numbers, Brent, and this is probably the craziest stat of all, when you compare the numbers to the Jaguars receivers to the Eagles receivers, it's pretty much I'm talking about receiving overall. Now, the tight end position, obviously the Eagles blow the Jaguars out of the water. But I'm saying when you complete the top 3 receivers, the top 4 receivers, including Fournette, compare those to the Eagles receivers, right now the Jacksonville Jaguars are on pace for maybe better or just about the same as the Eagle receivers.
That's pretty wild.
It's insane.
That's pretty wild. So
and keep in mind, these numbers for the Eagles are coming from the playoff numbers as well that I gave you.
Yeah.
So those are including playoff games up into the Super Bowl.
Wow, and that's where they really got hot.
Yes.
The deficiency right now is definitely the tight end.
Correct.
You could complain if you don't have a stud offensive lineman like a Pro Bowler, but I think that's debatable. I mean, I think the Jags' offensive line is pretty good. Was Philly's better overall? I think you'd have to give them the nod there, but how much better? Again, I don't believe the Jags' offensive line is an eyesore. I think the big difference is here when you compare what he's walking into offensively is the fact that they don't have the multiple backs. And they don't have a tight end. I mean, Josh Oliver has to start doing something for us to include him in the tight end game. But again, that's possible improvement in this offense because, 6 games he was down, but for the last 3, it's not like Gardner Minshew got him involved. Now, Gardner Minshew, DeFilippo, Oliver himself, who knows? I'm just saying it didn't happen. So now games 4 through what would that be, 10 of his career, does Nick Foles get Josh Oliver more involved?
Yep.
That's going to be something that we could see that would be certainly different than what we have seen.
And what are all these numbers telling us? I mean, what is all this data really telling us here, Brent? I think the craziest thing that you can take away if you're a Jaguars fan is the fact that if you analyze the numbers when Foles came in and the fact he was throwing a lot to his running backs, the fact that he threw a lot to his tight end, well, we don't have a tight end in Jacksonville right now, okay? But you can kind of go out and say, in theory, that when Gardner Minshew came in, John DeFilippo gave him the Nick Foles plan for that 2017 Super Bowl run. Because if you look at it, Leonard Fournette got a lot of reps, right? The one receiver, DJ Chark, he got a lot of targets. But the other guys, not so much, right? It was basically just one guy. So, and there was no tight end to throw to, let's be honest. So from that perspective, Brent, I think right now the biggest question is, okay, Gardner Minshew came in, and you gave him kind of like the Nick Foles condensed version of that 2017 season. What does the wide version look like now for Nick Foles, who is necessarily kind of like the Carson Wentz now of that 2017 team, where it's the whole playbook? So from that perspective, I'm curious to see what happens.
Yeah, very interesting. I've got one more question when we come back on that. We'll do a little Fallin and getting to cheating in sports, plus a little rapid fire on what we've already talked about here on the day and to stay in your lane. We got about 45 minutes to go, really less than that. We are hanging out with the Jacksonville Icemen today. Icemen lost this morning in front of a record crowd, a bunch of screaming kids, 12,000 of them here at Veterans Memorial Arena. So we're having some fun here on Action Sports Jax on the road once again. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Action Sports Jax with Brent Martineau on ESPN 690 is brought to you by Best Bet Jacksonville and Orange Park.
Now, the first alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Rain will be developing and increasing this evening and overnight, especially with temperatures tonight around 60 degrees. From the First Alert Weather Center, I'm Action News Jax Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, where you can get 20% off store-wide, including loose diamonds with special financing, only at Beards Diamonds.
Small business owners, it's been a great year, and now it's time to begin to make some end-of-year decisions. Instead of giving your hard-earned money to the tax man, consider reinvesting in your business with a quality pre-owned truck, van, or commercial work vehicle from Jacksonville Truck Center. With the largest selection of pre-owned work vehicles in North Florida and easy commercial financing, let us be your one-stop shop to get the job done today. We're on the corner of Arlington Expressway and Southside Connector. Stop by today or visit us at JacksonvilleTruckCenter.com.
It's time for some straight talk. You know those football players who are all talk, no show? Well, big wireless carriers aren't much different. Well, Straight Talk Wireless doesn't give you the hype, just the savings. For just $45 a month, you'll get the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. No contract. All on the same 4G LTE networks as the big guys, but up to half the cost. Savings delivered right to your wallet. Only at Walmart. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
At AutoZone, we're all about giving you more ways to get your car in shape for any season. With our AutoZone Rewards program, members get a $20 reward every time they spend $20 or more 5 times, which means you'll have more to spend on safety upgrades, like replacement headlights. Replacing dim headlights can boost your visibility, so you can light up the road and drive with confidence, no matter the weather. See terms at AutoZone.com/rewards. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
We're local, you're local, shop local. This holiday season, shop local retailers right here in the 904.
When you shop local retailers, you're making an investment in our own community.
Shop the 904.
Powered by Cox Media Group.
Men, are the effects of hypertension, diabetes, or prostate cancer preventing you from having a satisfying love life? In just one visit, the doctors at Prime Men's Medical Center can help you overcome ED or PE to regain your confidence and have you last longer in the bedroom. Name brand pills don't work for many men and can have serious side effects. The highly skilled physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center provide custom blended medications that are safe, effective, and work immediately, regardless of your medical history or age. You'll see results on your first visit, guaranteed, or your consultation is free. So, if you have problems in the bedroom, call now for a private consultation. One call, one visit, one simple solution to regain your love life. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now at 904-206-8105. 904-206-8105. That's 904-206-8105.
It's that time again, the time when I can finally say my favorite 3 words. No, it's not I love you, though those are pretty good words too. The 3 words I'm talking about, Toyotathon is on. And it's going on right now at Arlington Toyota. Arlington Toyota is the place to be when it comes to getting amazing Toyotathon savings on their huge selection. That's over 1,000 new and used on the lot every day. And it's all at Toyotathon savings. Right now, during Toyotathon at Arlington Toyota, lease a 2020 Corolla LE for a low $162 per month. That's a 2020 Corolla LE for just $162 per month. Get the truck you've always wanted and save when you lease a 2019 Tacoma SR5 double cab for only $199 per month. Just $199 per month for a Tacoma. Plus, you get Arlington's $5,000 Advantage Club and even a national lifetime warranty with unlimited time and miles for new purchases. Toyotathon is on at Arlington Toyota, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Toyotathon for offer details.
Right now at T-Mobile, get the best deal on the newest iPhones. 4 iPhone 11s with 4 lines, just $35 a line.
Hey, Joe, tell that squirrel story again.
Yeah, come on, Joe.
No. Oh, I have a 4K video I took on this iPhone 11.
Let's see it.
Come on, really?
Ah, bear!
I swear that squirrel looked like a bear.
This crystal clear 4K video says otherwise, Joe.
Well, I'm just happy we could contact a ranger with T-Mobile's powerful signal.
For a squirrel?
Get to a T-Mobile store today and get 4 new amazing iPhone 11s with 4 lines. Now just $35 a line with qualifying trade-ins. Switch today.
Video streams at 480p via 24 credits for well-qualified buyers. $30 plan plus $5 phone with autopay, plus taxes and fees. If you cancel, credits may stop and remaining balance due. Contact us. Qualifying credit, service, and finance agreements required. 0 down plus $29.17 times 24. Pre-credit price $699.99. 0% APR.
Peace of mind. It's one of the most important things we can have, and sometimes the most elusive. I'm Mark Anajar from the Law Office of Anajar & Levine. Falls can be embarrassing. Your first reaction might be to get up, but always make sure to check yourself for any injuries. Examine your surroundings to see what caused you to fall. Take pictures if possible, and call the manager to make a formal report. If you've been injured in a slip and fall accident, call the law offices of Anajar & Levine at 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000.
Office in Jacksonville.
Small business owners, it's been a great year, and now it's time to begin to make some end-of-year decisions. Instead of giving your hard-earned money to the tax man, consider reinvesting in your business with a quality pre-owned truck, van, or commercial work vehicle from Jacksonville Truck Center. With the largest selection of pre-owned work vehicles in North Florida and easy commercial financing, let us be your one-stop shop to get the job done today. We're on the corner of Arlington Expressway and Southside Connector. Stop by today or visit us at jacksonvilletruckcenter.com.
Are you looking for the best wings around? I found the place. Listen up. Hey, everyone, it's Brent Martineau. Mr. Chubby's Wings is awesome. 2 locations, the West Side and in Fleming Island. They are a part of the community, too. Mr. Chubby's Wings wants to wish all of the high school teams good luck this fall. They've been supporting youth athletics for a decade. Get ready for the game at Mr. Chubby's. Celebrate the big win at Mr. Chubby's. Chub it up with the best wings around. Mr. Chubby's Wings on the West Side and in Fleming Island.
Our partners at BSN Sports, the largest provider of team sports equipment and apparel in the country, would like to thank all of the coaches out there who truly are the heart of the game. While BSN Sports is the best at equipping athletes with a one-stop shop for everything needed to run an athletic program, coaches are the best at equipping lives. And that's the real final score. Learn more about how BSN Sports can save you time off the field so you can impact more lives on it by calling your local BSN Sports sales professional or by visiting bsnsports.com today.
Pop quiz. If you sell a home for $500,000, how much would a traditional real estate agent charge in commission? If you guessed $25,000 to $30,000, you're right. But if you think that's the only way, you're wrong. This is why thousands of homeowners are making the switch to Rex. With Rex, you get a dedicated agent and a full-service experience at a fraction of the cost. Rex uses game-changing technology to cut out the middleman and save homeowners tens of thousands of dollars in fees. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. Remember, this is your home. Why give an insane amount of equity away to an agent? Rex offers the lowest fee in the industry without skimping on service. You'll work with an experienced real estate team with you every step of the way. Get the most out of your home. See if you qualify by calling 833-REX-HOME. 833-REX-HOME.
Florida, CQ 1057788.
Minimum fee may apply. Not licensed in all 50 states. Visit rexhomes.com to see if Rex is available in your area. Rex fully supports the principles of the Fair Housing Act and Equal Opportunity Act.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
I'm Jake Mitchell. Minshew Mania may have cooled off, but Gardner still has one fan rooting for him, Nick Foles.
I'm proud of Gardner for everything he's done. He's a tremendous player. He's been amazing in the QB room, and I've really enjoyed watching him play and develop as a young player.
The Jags take on the Colts this Sunday, and Nick Foles' long-awaited return to the field after an injury suffered in Game 1. There are already confirmed attendees for the Colin Kaepernick workout Saturday in Atlanta. Reps from Miami Dolphins, Detroit Lions, Atlanta Falcons, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers have confirmed, and John Elway has confirmed the Denver Broncos will also be represented, as well as the Washington Redskins, the Dallas Cowboys, and Arizona Cardinals. More to come. Stay connected with ESPN 690 while you're at work by listening on ESPN690.com. The best kept secret in tires is TireOutlet.com. Tire Outlet offers wholesale prices with premium service, and TireOutlet.com always has a safety-first focus. With locations throughout the First Coast, there's no need to go anywhere else for tires and service.
Oye, amigo, it is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
And this guy writes in, where was all this Masvidal love before his recent success? Real fans have had his back for a long time.
The Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugatz on ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Brent Martineau.
You see him every day on CBS 47, Fox 30, Action Sports Jax.
Austin Lane.
He's a former Jag star and current MMA fighter.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studio. This is Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 and ESPN690.com.
When you play quarterback, I think you do see the game a little bit differently. I do. Well, you see it more from a big picture standpoint because as a quarterback, you have to be concerned about the protection, about the routes, about the sights, about the hots, about the play calls coming in, getting ready, understanding how to get ready for a game. As a player, getting your routine down, which is very similar to coaches. When you've experienced that for so long, and both those guys that, Coach Peterson and Coach Reich had such long careers, I think all those things I mentioned have, at least from those two guys that you mentioned, I think I would say has really helped them, but you'd have to ask them.
Well, that's Coach John DeFilippo, the offensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He was there in Philadelphia with Nick Foles when they won the Super Bowl a couple years back, and we just got done dissecting that 2017 Eagles team versus this year's Jags team. Similar situations in a different kind of sense where Nick Foles is coming off the bench. He came off the bench in 17, leads them to a Super Bowl. Came off the bench last year for Carson Wentz, and he leads them into the playoffs. Not the Super Bowl, but he got a playoff win. You would sign up for that right now. Not the Super Bowl one. You would sign up for get into the playoffs and get a playoff win.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
Absolutely you would sign up for that.
Yes.
I mean, that would be outstanding. And again, you can all the cliches come into play. If you get in there, you never know what happens and blah, 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 blah. But how does this team stack up like on paper that Nick Foles is walking back into versus those? And I think there is one intangible here that he did not necessarily have in 17. He might have had more in 18 because of the resume after winning the Super Bowl and raising the trophy, that he had the trust of his teammates and the acknowledgement that this guy's good, man. We can ride with this guy. Well, here in Jacksonville, he was able to build that foundation with so many of his teammates in the spring and in August, and I think he's so well respected that it's not this curiosity. In 17, my guess is in Philadelphia is like, okay, what are we going to get here?
Let's see what
Carson
we got.
Wentz just went down and we were 11-2. Uh-oh. It was more of an uh-oh than I can't wait till Nick Foles gets in.
Yeah.
In 18 for them, it was probably like, hey, let's roll. Let's go. He got us to a Super Bowl. We might go back now. We can get to the playoffs. There's this confidence. And I think the Jags have that similar confidence as maybe the Eagles had last year versus 17.
And when you want to compare the 17 Eagles, the 18 Eagles, and now this year's Jacksonville Jaguars, you also have to bring up the point that the fact that what was like their biggest thing that the Eagles were preaching for both playoff runs? It was the fact that they're underdogs, right? Like, you know, like Long was rocking the whatever the German Shepherd mask and everything like that.
That's right. Yep.
They were the underdogs, and sometimes kind of like that. I mean, as crazy as it may seem, it's a little gimmick, but sometimes just being the underdog and relaying that in your mind over and over again as a team, that can bring you guys together. Now, yes, Nick Foles had a big part of that as well, but being the underdog the whole time, I felt like gave him a little extra motivation. And all things considered, right now, I would consider the Jacksonville Jaguars, what we've seen so far, the underdogs. You know, I think they're the underdog.
A 3-point dog on Sunday.
Well, they are a 3-point dog on Sunday, and I think they're an underdog to make the playoffs. So if the Jaguars do make the playoffs, a lot of things got to happen yet, but I think they're going to still have that kind of same underdog mentality that the Eagles had.
All right, I like their comparison. It's mostly on the offensive side. The defense of Philadelphia in 17, by the way, was good. I know they gave up a bunch of points in the Super Bowl to New England, but they actually were opportunistic and very good, so they could pick up the slack in some respects. The other intangible part is how many big plays down the stretch. You know, it comes to mind is the Chicago game last year in the playoffs where Nick Foles gets the 2-point conversion, right?
Yeah.
You have to have the clutch nature. The roster doesn't matter at that point. You have to just be able to go make a play, and Nick Foles has now proven over the last couple of years he can make a play. And much like Gardner Minshew made a play in Denver, will Nick Foles be in a situation in these final 7 games where he's going to have to step up and make some plays? Well, he's proven he can do it. Now we'll see if he can do it in a Jags uniform.
Exactly. Listen, when the playoffs start, Brent, it's a different ball game. It's a different kind of mentality, and sometimes the most talented rosters, they don't advance, right? Whether it's weather being a factor, whether it's just the game calling, whatever it is, injuries, a lot of things happen, but that's when the mentality, that's when being a gamer comes about, right? Like, yeah, sure, you can be a gamer in the regular season as well, but that's when being a gamer really makes a precedent and then the playoffs. And I think Nick Foles, all things considered, should be a gamer.
Well, by
if
the
he
way,
makes it there.
This is playoff football right now for the Jags.
Correct.
It's weird to say it's 7 games out. They have no choice. The Jags playoffs start November 15, 16, 17th. November 17th.
Yeah.
That's essentially what happens. This is becoming a playoff game for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe a double elimination kind of playoff tournament because they could probably lose once and maybe twice, but probably just once.
Yeah, just once if
so,
anything.
it's like a double elimination tournament, and the playoffs are on for the Jacksonville Jaguars. All right, we did Ballin a long time ago. Wanted to get to the
I
Foles
remember.
and the Eagles
I was
thing.
there.
Let's get to Fallin real quick because we'll bring up cheating in sports, and I want to go there for a couple minutes. But first, yours.
Oh, hear mine first?
Yes.
All right. Brent, so Fallin, I'm going to be honest, man. It's actually myself.
Oh.
Because why? I mean, I'll be honest, and I'm making up excuses here, but I'm a busy guy, right? Like, I try to do well on the show, do my research, do my homework. You know, I have a fighting career as well I got to focus on. I'm trying to be a badass dad, trying to be a badass husband. So, you know, there's a lot on my plate. I'm not trying to make excuses, but I have, I guess I've kind of ignored maybe the staple. You know, what gives the fans the most boost when they listen to us? I'm talking to the 690 Syndicate out there listening right now, Brent. The one segment that fans just gravitate to and always want more, and I haven't done it in a long time, so I'm going to do it right now, actually. Kuz, give me the music. Box score breakdown. It's the TJ McConnell box score breakdown. TJ McConnell. Box score breakdown. How many points? How many assists? How many rebounds? How many steals? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. It's the TJ McConnell box score breakdown. And scene, Coos, thank you. Just think about that right now. I guess we have to have some new music.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time, you know, and we have to have some new music, I guess, because he's not in Philly anymore. So why are we playing the Rocky music?
That's a good point. Because
That's
Cruz
on
still
me.
loves him, man.
Cruz still does love him. And you know what, Brent? He was with the 76ers last year. He said, you know what, I've had enough cheesesteaks. Philly's always been a football town. I want to go someplace else. I want to go to Indianapolis. I want to go play for the Pacers. I want to bathe in the waters of Lake Patonka, and I want to wash myself of the Philliness, and I want to be in a state that's all about basketball. Because if you've been to Indiana, that's all they do there is basketball. And
Is that
occasional
really a lake in Indianapolis?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Trust me, I did my research, man. I did my homework. So, but let's go to the TJ McConnell box score breakdown. First time this year, real quick. TJ McConnell last night in a victory over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Kuz, you're going to like this. Guess what? This isn't your mom and dad's TJ McConnell. This guy's new, refreshing. 24 minutes, 3 of 8 from the field, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 6 points. But then the fans are out there like wondering, well, Austin, what about the season stats? Because we want to know about TJ McConnell overall. Don't worry, guys. I got you covered.
That box score was his season in Philly last year.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But don't worry. I got everybody covered. Kuz, you paying attention. He's averaging 17 minutes a game, 6.2 points a game, 3.1 rebounds, and 4.5 assists. Do we call him MVP right now, or do we wait to see how the Pacers are doing? Pacers right now, 7-4. TJ McConnell in a new echelon of NBA talent, Brent.
Kuz,
I'm saying this is rigged.
Yeah, you should get a Pacers jersey, man.
How is it rigged?
This is rigged because you didn't do the breakdown when he played against Detroit or Orlando, where he had over 10 points both times and had almost 10 assists.
Well, Kuz, I'll tell you right now, I just said he's averaging 6.2 points a game and 4.5 assists. So he obviously had some stinkers in there as well that I could have brought up just as easy.
That's fair, but they're on a 4-game win streak, and he is a big part of that.
I actually think McConnell, those numbers are pretty decent. They're higher than I expected them to be from TJ.
Let's be careful about how big of an influence he is, but okay.
Against Detroit, he had 17 points, 9 assists. He shot 80%, 8 for 10 for the field.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right.
He's
There's
no
your
John
TJ
Morant.
McConnell update.
There's your TJ McConnell box score breakdown.
First time in months.
Oh, man.
I need
a cigarette, Brent. That took a lot out of me.
That's for the 690 Syndicate.
That's for the 690 Syndicate.
Which
you better believe it.
probably consists of 3 people.
Hey, Brent, we got some hardcore fans out there, man. Just start talking SEC football. They'll call him.
All right. Hey, my fault. I kind of alluded to it already, but I wanted to evolve it a little bit more. Cheating in sports, and the Astros are under the gun a little bit now and have not dismissed it, have not denied it. And I think they learned from the GM situation where we're not going to go deny something and then all of a sudden more evidence comes out, so let's go look at it. So I think they're handling that part of it okay. This doesn't look good, though. If you missed the whole case, this is really a couple of days old now, and now Major League Baseball is going to do an investigation. They're going to get to people that have been around the organization, like even Carlos Beltran. They're going to bring him in and talk to him and say, try to find this out. Listen, cheating in sports happens, okay? But there's unwritten rules about cheating. You know, my belief is a lot of the pitchers do use some kind of substance or whatever, whether it's on their hat or their sleeve, just to get a good grip, not just the old rosin bag. But sometimes people go out over the top and they get called on it. That still happens today when it's too much, right? There's just too much of it going on. That's cheating. I mean, the bottom line is if they don't get caught, or if they do get caught, it's still cheating, but people are bending the rules. That happens in sports, whether you like it or not. Sign stealing is more of an art. If you can kind of pick up what people are doing, that's on them. Yeah. If somebody's tipping pitches, that's on them. And so that's just more information and intel. There's really no different than in your sport of football. If somebody kind of leans a certain way on a set from an offensive lineman before a snap, you might be able to get an indicator of what they're about to do.
Well, even in, like, you know, on the sidelines, they've been another coach, like, it's more in college football, obviously, but they hold like those giant signs or they're giving out, you know, signals. I mean, if another coach or another scout of the opposing team figures that out, good on them.
Well, I think Florida, actually, I was wondering, they have sheets now that go up even behind them, not just in front where the cameras might see, but the behind cameras.
Yeah.
So, they have really tried to stop all that. It's a little bit insane, in my opinion. Why don't we just have wristbands or something like that?
Well, that, and then I always find it interesting, too, like in baseball or even like in NFL sidelines, like head coaches calling plays, you know, they have the big playbook, the play sheet over their mouths. Because, like, each team's got a scout that's just trying to key in, waiting for someone to mess up just so they can read lips a little bit. Come on.
Well, but you never know.
Yeah, I got you. Got to cover all bases. I understand.
You never know. But the bottom line is the tapping. The Houston Astros are being accused of, or they've said people have said they did this because former player was in the Athletic saying so in an article that they would tap once for a fastball or tap twice for a changeup or off speed, and that was after looking at video inside the tunnel.
Yeah.
And so they would tap, and the player would hear that, and then you know. And that's a big advantage. If you know an off-speed pitch is coming rather than a fastball when it's going 9,800 miles an hour, huge advantage to picking up the spin. And they have had a ton of success. I don't know where this is going. It certainly seems like there's a lot of smoke, which means there might be some fire here.
Yeah.
I don't know what they can do. You know, if I'm Houston, I'm like, you know what? Shame on us. We might get fined a couple $1 million, but we raised trophies, and we won a lot of games the last few years doing this.
Yeah.
So it was worth it, right? I mean, wouldn't you say if you're Houston, it's worth what they've done because it's not like the NCAA. You can't, like, revoke their World Series and give it to whoever, the Dodgers or whatever it might be. You just don't do that in Major League Baseball. So almost whatever happens to them, in my opinion, it was probably worth it. Does it make it right? Does it make you lose respect for the Astros? Absolutely, because over the years, if you've listened to me at all, you know I'm a big Astros fan. I'm not an Astros fan, but I'm an Astros fan in terms of how they've built this thing, how they've done it, and how they reloaded that roster and built it for the long haul. And with all the players, and then added the Verlander pieces, you know, and the Cole pieces, and all these. They have done a brilliant job, and they're a fun team to watch. I love Jose Altuve. I like a lot of their players on their team. But this does make you lose respect for them. I mean, all those things that I've said that I kind of like them from afar and appreciate what they are and who they are and what they've done. Well, I lose a little bit of that, quite frankly, much like a lot of people did for the New England Patriots, even though they don't know how much it helped. But they lost some respect for him.
I was just going to say that, right? Because what we're seeing from the Houston Astros is like you mentioned, Brent, because you're a big baseball guy. teams probably steal signs all the time, but the way the Astros went about it, using technology, using cameras, that's a little kind of sets a precedent. So from that perspective, that is different. Now, where does it fall on the justification? Is it a big deal or not? And I think if we want to compare it to the New England Patriots and Spygate, I think it's right along the same lines, right? If not worse, because you could argue, well, did Spygate really do anything for the New England Patriots? Well, you can point to, yes, it did a lot for the Astros, because if you know a pitch is coming, that's the biggest advantage in baseball. So from that perspective, I don't know what you do, and I don't know the fallout from this, because I could sit here and say, well, do what the Patriots got done, take a first-round pick away. Well, in baseball, the picks are a little different, right? You don't want to lose a first-round pick in baseball, but it's not as detrimental to your team as it is in football. So it begs the question, what becomes of the Houston Astros now? Because obviously something has to be done.
Yeah, something's going to be done so it doesn't happen again. I just don't know. Again, $2 million in Major League Baseball, I mean, for an organization that's won like 400 games, it feels like, in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Does that matter?
It's pocket change.
Probably not. Again, it will be a stain, regardless, if it's found to be true. But it won't even ring as much as the Patriots. One, NFL is different than baseball. It's more popular, so there's more people chiming in on it. There are some people I don't think that understand the nuances of stealing signs. Like, really, is that big a deal, Yeah. But it is a big deal. And the way they went about it is a big deal. The integrity of the game, that's a big deal. I mean, there have been people banned because of integrity of the game. Pete Rose, still not allowed into the Hall of Fame because of integrity of the game, and obviously betting on the game. This is different than that. But I'm just saying that integrity is a big word when it comes to sports. And
especially baseball.
And especially baseball. So I think this would feel different almost even if it was the Yankees. See, the Patriots feels different because Patriots already were hated. Belichick, they started winning too much. You compile all those things, and then you throw in the Spygate stuff that happened kind of in hindsight, right? Mm-hmm. That whole Spygate thing. Well, if the Yankees had done this, it would almost feel that way because the Yankees are that polarizing team.
Yeah, they're the team that you love to hate.
Yeah, the Astros aren't like that.
No, I think honestly, and it's crazy to say, but they're like America's sweethearts, I still feel like, just because the way they built their team, they had a lot of losing seasons. They built through the farm system, and when they were there, then they added the key pieces. I think that the Astros are a very lovable team, and I think people can identify with them. So I do agree with you here, but it's going to tarnish.
Guess what? They're not lovable anymore.
No, and
what
it's going to tarnish.
What this just did now is make them not lovable.
It's going to tarnish.
It's kind of like Chicago, right? The Cubs are a lovable team, the lovable losers, but they won. But once they won,
it wasn't cool anymore.
Board, now it's like,
wasn't cool anymore.
All right, Cubs, I'm tired of Joe Madden. I'm tired of these guys. Forget about it. You won. That was a cute story, but now it's over. Well, I think the Astros have put themselves kind of in a category like that now. They won't be hated across the board. They're still the Houston Astros. They're not the Yankees. They're not the Duke Blue Devils. They're not the Dodgers or the Patriots. They're not those kind of teams. But they will now be disliked, I think, amongst the masses, depending on how this works out, too. Let's see where it goes. But cheating in sports, how much did you cheat?
It's a good question, man. How much did I cheat? And I probably should have thought about this a little more when you prefaced this a couple segments ago. Honestly, so to me, the big, especially in football, because that's what I'll be talking about, is football mostly. Because MMA, it's really hard to cheat in MMA because everything is pretty sanctioned. For instance, when you're fighting in a cage or you're at a pro event, I mean, you can't even go to the bathroom without an official following you in the bathroom when your hands are wrapped, right? And you can only have 2 pieces of fruit. You can only drink
water. To go to the bathroom if your hands are wrapped.
Well, it's not the easiest part. Spoiler alert. But so it's very strict, and there's not really any ways you can cheat because you can try to eye gouge somebody, kick someone below the belt, but you're gonna get called. Right? Yeah, but that'll get called. So from the standpoint of football, to me, and I guess MMA, you can say the same thing, but the biggest form of cheating to me is obviously doing steroids. It's obviously taking illegal supplements to try to give you a competitive advantage that's not natural. And I've said it before on this show, and I'll say it until the day I get put in the ground, man. I never cheated because a lot of it had to do with just the way I was raised, with integrity, but also, and I told the story before, the biggest reason why I never did steroids is because they showed us this PSA video in high school gym class, and it was about a guy who did steroids, and then something happened where he had to get his leg amputated, and they showed the surgery of his leg getting amputated. Now, was that a true story? Maybe not. I don't know, but guess what? That video worked because I saw his leg getting chopped off. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing steroids ever again. I'm never doing steroids ever in my entire life. And from that standpoint, I never did. So
I always think Lyle Alzado came to mind, the former Raider, every time I heard steroids.
And I know.
That was always a bad thing. He was put in a bad light because of that. So it always felt like a bad deal.
Yeah.
You think you would had a longer career or better career
for sure.
if you did steroids.
Absolutely.
You do.
Absolutely. Yeah. And listen, they're prevalent in the NFL. I'm never going to be a whistleblower and say like, oh, this guy's on steroids, this guy's on steroids, but it is prevalent and it does extend your career. And if I look back on it now, 5 years in, would I have got more playing time? Absolutely. Should I have did it? Absolutely not. Because at the end of the day, I was happy. The biggest thing for me was walking out of the game knowing that I didn't cheat in that aspect. Now, to get back to the point of did I cheat at all in football, the only thing that really sticks out to me is the cleats, right? Like when you play in Chicago, when you play in Pittsburgh, there's kind of an unwritten rule where you're supposed to wear like the screw-ins cleats,
Yeah.
They're supposed to be like a half inch. Sometimes, maybe some equipment managers want to go to 3/4, maybe the inch cleats, but that's honestly probably the only thing I can think of at the moment.
All right. Hey, by the way, big weekend for you. You're off to Murray State, going into the Hall of Fame. Big night last night, Casey Musgraves.
Yeah.
She won Female Vocalist of the Year, man.
Yeah. No, that was impressive. Should have been Entertainer of the Year, but let's not get into that. And also, a props to, it was my cruise control, Lil Nas X, for winning his own CMA award. Obviously, taking off the Billboard country charts, he's back on. He wins the award, and also the first openly gay musician to win a CMA.
By the way, there was a lot of Entertainer of the Year hubbub because Eric Church. A lot of people thought Marty Smith actually like Eric Church should have won.
Yeah.
As long as Garth Brooks is ever in the Entertainer of the Year category, he will and should always win.
So apparently,
and I love Eric Church.
Well, apparently there's a lot of backlash about Carrie Underwood not winning this.
You cannot compete with Garth Brooks for an Entertainer of the Year.
I'm just saying, Carrie Underwood's Sunday Night Football, entertaining.
No, I would rather listen to Eric Church music right now.
Yeah.
And I love Garth Brooks, but I'd rather listen to Eric Church music. And I've seen both of them multiple times. Garth Brooks, it doesn't compare.
All I'm saying is, when I'm watching Sunday Night Football and the intro starts, I don't want to see Garth Brooks' old, getting on there singing to me. I want to see Carrie Underwood, the musician that she is, the showman that she is. Props to Carrie Underwood.
Hey, by the way, congratulations going into the Hall of Fame, Murray State. Have a good weekend.
Thank you,
there.
man. Yeah, I'll call in tomorrow, check up with you guys a little bit, and say hello from Murray.
All right, Coos, sorry for blowing up the clock, man. Nice job back here today. Icemen lose today, but come on out tomorrow night and Saturday night. It'll be Marvel Night. Spider-Man jerseys on Saturday night, both 7 o'clock. They drop the puck. We're going over to Jaguars All Access, Mellow Mushroom. Watch it on Fox 30 at 7 o'clock. Najee Good, Calais Campbell. Or come on out to Mellow Mushroom. Have a good night, everybody. See you on CBS 47 and Fox 30.
Shop the 904.
We're local, you're local, shop local. This holiday season, shop local retailers right here in the 904.
When you shop local retailers, you're making an investment in our own community.
When you shop locally owned businesses, most of the money you spend with them stays right here in our community.